Oh, I see me. I see me good.
Deep dish, and those are both thin.
Oh, awesome.
2 slices of thin, probably like Canadian bacon thin. All right. Jackson, Mississippi. Oh, man. We are here. Jackson, Mississippi.
Isn't that latency crazy?
The
Like
delay.
you know that what's happening right here is going through like millions of links and satellites to bring it back right to you.
I know, man. It's wild. So, I think I can do it with the hat forward.
Oh, you gotta wear it forward. That's too baller of a logo.
I know. All right, man. We're here at the Casa.
It's Sunday Fun Day, folks.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We got pizza,
Got
beverages.
beer, good music, good times.
My great wife is helping us out a ton.
Yay, Crystal.
Thank you, Crystal. All right, so if you don't know, this is my great friend, brother from another mother, Chad Wesley, of the Chad
Yes.
Wesley Band,
Yes.
and of Forest, Mississippi.
Yeah, that's where I originally came from.
Forest, Mississippi.
That's what reared me.
Homegrown.
Yep, Forest Bearcat, class of 2004. But everyone around here is like, yeah, Chad went to Forest Hill. Because they just like, hear that buzzword of forest. And they just, or my favorite one. Oh, you from Hattiesburg? No, there's actually a town called Forest.
Not Forest County.
Not Forest County. Not Forest Hill. There's actually a town called Forest.
Is that Scott or Smith County?
It is Scott County.
Scott County. Do y'all have good watermelons there?
Got great meth. I mean, yeah, watermelon's good, man. we grow good watermelon.
We were, somebody was talking last night on Facebook. We got a watermelon. I guess it's Smith County watermelons that are supposed to be
Oh
famous.
yeah, Smith County. Go down Highway 35, down them Mize. Yeah, Raleigh.
So do you think they call them Smith County watermelons?
No, they just called them a watermelon down
Or is
there.
it just, somebody said, I can't remember who, I wish I could give credit to whoever I saw. Somebody said, well, they just call them local melons.
Well, growing up in Scott County, if you could bag a Smith County watermelon and a Simpson County girl, you were good to go. So I won in both arenas.
Yeah, you did.
Got me a Simpson County woman.
And I got me a good South Jackson girl, which is only fitting.
Can I tell them what I'm drinking?
Absolutely.
All right, so shameless promotion right here. I am not paid by this company to tell you about it, but Southern Prohibition in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, brewing some fire beer, my friends. So this is the Crowd Control. It's an Imperial Pale Ale. It's 8% alcohol, so it's a good sipping beer, But yeah, I just like to promote anything Mississippi. Like my actual sponsor, Georgia Blue, who has GB Spirits, vodka, and bourbon. We'll talk about how they were sponsoring my tour later on.
And we would have got some of that, but it's Sunday in Mississippi, so y'all know the gimmick. There's no alcohol to be purchased or no liquor to be purchased on Sundays.
So that's today's theme, guys. We're going to be talking about liquor in Mississippi on Sunday.
I mean, what's that country song, Sunday in the South?
Sunday in the South. If you didn't buy your liquor on Saturday, you're all out.
Hey, real quick, so what we did before we got started today, y'all know I'm still born and raised and still currently reside in South Jackson, Mississippi. A book came out today. So make sure y'all see it there. I will tag the details in the comments, and it's already on the Save Jackson page. Vincent Venturini and Doug Shanks wrote a book called One Direction Home, A History of South Jackson. They had a book, I want to call it an album release party, a book signing event at CS's downtown, the long Pat Bowling on restaurant. So we just went by, met some really cool people, man. Shout out to everybody we met there today. And I told them I was going to give them a shout out about this book. And we're going to, as far as like how to get it, I will post it in the comments here at the end of this. You can order it here locally, and they do have it available at Lemuria. I can't ever say it. Big words, not my thing. That's a shout out to Jake Wimberly.
Old Jake.
So anyway, One Direction Home, A History of South Jackson. It looks to be really good. Doug Shanks, Vincent Venturini, Fred Shanks, or is it Fred or Frank? Anyhow, I don't want to go getting people's names wrong. Sutton, it was great to meet you there. Great to see everybody.
All right, so like this book cover, can we see it? Can we talk about this book cover?
Yeah.
I'm looking at that monitor's delayed. So this is the split off of I-55 that goes to 20 and South 55, I believe. That right there, guys.
The McDowell Road exit, I believe.
Is that? No, that looks like the I-55 split right there, where it goes to like 49, 20, and then South 55.
It is.
I just wanted to let you know that for the last 20 years of my life has been the root of all of my anxiety. Like, it don't matter if I'm going to Florence or if I'm going to the Gulf Coast. It don't matter. I just had to highlight that little split right there. I will doubt myself. It don't matter how long I've lived here, how many times I've driven that. I see that split, and I'm like, well, do I go I-55 South or I-20? Where am I going? Every time.
Coming up from, it's weird, going north, or like from the Byram area. I get on
it's a whole nother world.
So I get on the Elton Road and I go north. But I always say going south because I'm going to South. To me, the McDowell Road exit is South Jackson.
Right.
So he's like, I'm going north to south. Like, everybody confuses the hell out of me and everybody else. Like, what do you mean you're going north to south? I'm like, well, in my mind, I'm going to South Jackson.
I'm driving north to go to South Jackson.
To South Jackson. Because South Jackson is a neighborhood. It is a town in and of itself to me. It's not it's not a directional thing. You know? So I'm always like, we're going south, and we're going north, but we're going south.
It's a label.
So I still don't understand how they figure out the frontage roads. Like, frontage road north, frontage road south. I guess it depends on what side of the interstate it's on, but...
And yeah, that's true.
You know, like,
true.
Same with Highway 80. You know, it's like, am I going on Highway 80 East or Highway 80 West? It's all Highway 80.
I got friends and living in Pearl, and they're over by the baseball field and all that new growth and area. They're like, yeah, we live in West Brandon. I'm
West
like,
Brandon.
oh, interesting.
I know. It was somebody not too long ago was talking about East Pearl or something like that. I'm like, no, you don't have sides. I love my friends from
Don't
Pearl.
put a compass on this city.
Yeah. You know, that's like saying there's an East Jackson. Like, no. There's a little bit of Jackson east of 55, but it's just a riverbank and Eastover.
Pretty much, man.
You know, so that's really all you got.
What are you drinking, Clay?
Man, I am not supporting local.
Well, Southern. You're supporting Southern.
When Lucky Town unfortunately shut the doors, rest in peace. Ballistic Blonde was our absolute favorite beer.
Yeah, you did love that, man. We used to go over there off Mill Street to their place all the time. Yeah, man, you would always order that.
See all those cats, man. Great friends. They were always super cool to me, to the page.
God, I love them, man. I got a chance to really be a part of their world a couple of times. I could talk about that for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, I actually had a Facebook memory come up a couple of days of the show you did there, the album release, the tie-in with the beer.
Yeah, so Lucky Town, they did a beer for Dear Silas, and he did his album release at Doolin Hall the weekend before me, and then they did a beer for me for my album release show. Silas was way luckier than me. He jumped on it way before me, and he actually got a can produced with his beer. I didn't get a can produced with my beer. Mine was straight on draft, but my album, my last album, Bluesy, we applied that name to a blueberry-infused IPA, and it was called the Bluesy, and that draft beer sold out in the first hour and a half of my show at Doolin Hall. But that was the end of my relationship with them, not because of our choosing, but because they, of course, shut operations down. But when the bill got passed, I believe it was 2012, when the bill got passed for craft beer, and it was like they could make it
high
around
gravity beer.
Yeah, they threw a huge party downtown on Capitol Street in front of Hilton, King Edward. And my band and I, we had set up and played a little concert out there, man, and it was just awesome. So it's like I got to be a part of their coming into the game, and I got to be a major part of their going out of the game. So I'll always have a special place in my heart for Lucky Town.
Yeah, if my memory serves me correct, and so much has happened, but I believe I helped kind of quarterback that.
You did. You were totally the liaison. I've called Clay my liaison more times than I've ever called him my friend, and he's one of my best friends. But he's definitely been my liaison.
You end up. You know enough people everywhere. I don't necessarily have a need for every contact. Other than the fact that they make great friends. Mm-hmm. But I'm all the time telling people, and I know Jake gets tired of me doing it to him. Like, look, I know a guy that can do a guy, and I think this would be cool if y'all work together, and so on and so forth.
Sorry, I was looking, man. We actually got some viewers, man. Awesome.
Rachel, we are eating Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut's a local establishment based out of West Jackson. I'm joking.
It's a locally owned.
It's a locally owned, locally brewed pizza.
So we were just eating some Canadian bacon and Meat Lovers pizza. It was just something simple. I was going to cook today, but between the book signing and getting the house ready for guests, and I think Chad's the first guest that we've had at the house.
I know him like that.
Yeah,
I know him like that.
Since the pandemic.
Yeah. So
it's not making me wear a mask in here. I'll just hold my hand over my face. Is this cool?
Yeah, we
talk
really,
like Bane from Batman.
We really do support local as much as possible, but let's be honest here. There is no local pizza in South Jackson or Byram, and it is what it is.
Soulshine is existing more on the outskirts in the bedroom communities.
Soulshine's my favorite pizza.
And I love Soulshine.
I know a lot of people love Pizza Shack,
and
it's
Pizza Shack.
It's no knock on Pizza Shack, but Soulshine's thin and I'm a thin and crispy.
Can I say something controversial?
Sure.
If Pizza Shack would leave it in the oven for like 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
I did say that.
I
love the pizza. Fantastic. Just leave it in the oven.
All the toppings, man. Their Canadian bacon is the best.
Just leave it in there 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes. Okay. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. No disrespect. I hope y'all support Pizza Shack. They're a fantastic company. Great owners. Great pizza. Just leave it in there for 5 minutes.
They opened up one in Byram a few years ago. And I don't think Byram was ready for real pizza.
How much of the world is ready for real anything anymore?
Well, Byram's not. I don't know. There's a Facebook group called Real Talk. I guess there's one for every town, but Byram's got one called Real Talk. And I would be scared to death to open up a restaurant in Byram because I've never seen anybody say anything good about any of them. These are the same people who give fast food restaurant reviews.
Hold on now. In Byram's defense, the best eating in Byram is at a gas station. Like that, what gas station is it? Exxon Mobil or something? The barbecue there?
The barbecue is amazing.
Oh my God. So when we kicked off the tour that I was recently on, we literally started getting gas at that because the opening date was in New Orleans. Of course, we're leaving from Jackson, so we all meet up, we all get together, get in the tour rig, and we meet up at that gas station. I was like, hold up, ain't hitting this road unless we get some of these ribs and some of this chicken. And my camera guy, he actually followed me into the store with his whole gimbal and everything with the camera. Buddy walks out, he goes, hey, what you got that camera for? What's that about? He's like, oh, I'm just following him. What, is he some kind of reality star? He's like, well, no, we're filming for a tour. He's like, yeah, get that camera out of my store, buddy. So my cameraman had to leave with the camera, but man, we loaded up on barbecue and ate it all the way down to New Orleans.
Yeah. Now I will say this: Byram does have a couple of really good locally owned spots.
Yeah.
Daddy O's Barbecue over there by Frankie's at House of Pain, and that on the other side of Byram. They call it New Byram. But anyway, so it's over there in that little strip mall. Great barbecue. Good friends of the show. Then we have Monty's Seafood, and Monty's has been around everywhere.
I've heard about it. I always wanted to eat there. Shame on me for not eating there.
And then to me, the creme de la creme, the absolute machismo is Wendell Steakhouse.
Oh yeah, spent some time in Wendell's.
So
salad bar on deck.
So like Byram, it's sleeper. It's got some good food. Like people settle a little short. But overall, like what we're missing.
Well, there was Reed Pierce's for a lot of years.
And then let me not forget Ben's at the Shack. It's like if you like bar food, burgers, wings, stuff like that. It's not a bar, but it's like bar food. Man, I love Ben's spot. So really, really good. But what we're missing is real pizza and gyros. We cannot get a real pizza or a good gyro out here.
The best gyro I ever ate in my life was on Venice Beach in Los Angeles. There was a little, and so in Venice Beach, man, it's just shop.
Yeah.
You can either go get a shirt with your face on it or go next door and get a ham sandwich.
Yeah.
It don't matter. But man, I got a gyro there, and it changed my whole life.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, there's a gyro place that started in Byram, and it actually didn't go out of business. It just left Byram called Krilakis. And they're right there in Old Town in Ridgeland now.
Yeah. That's going to say that's over by where I live.
Like
now.
legit Greek, the great family. They've bought cars from me in the past. By the way, we don't have any paid advertisers. Everything we do is just straight up our emotions and our feelings and our personal opinions.
Yeah, man, we're trying to get y'all off y'all's asses to go out there and spend money in your local markets.
Of course, I love Kiefer's. They've been great. I support Kiefer's a ton, just out of proximity to where I'm at.
Look, Kiefer's will always be great. I can't sit here and not pretend that I don't miss the original. Like Brandy and I, we drove past the new one last night because we were in Bellhaven eating last night at Elvy's. Great restaurant, by the way. And I was like, man, do you remember all those good old days back at the old Kiefer's, getting pitchers of beer and just like Peter Motts and all that stuff, man. That was a good time.
It was our pregame spot. Like my old brother from another mother, Marvell, we call him V or VJ. Like we would always meet, like start our weekend, our night at Kiefer's, and you'd be out on that patio. It's basically under a tree. I mean, I swear it was built around a tree. Mm-hmm. Like there was a tree coming up through the deck, if I remember right. Oh yeah. And man, you'd be back there, and it would start out. It would be like everybody keeping their distance, like at a high school dance, all the boys on one side, girls on the other, you know. Mm-hmm. But by the time 3 or 4 pictures in, you were making friends with complete strangers. You know, it was like, like your Bellhaven Millsaps crew, and we were like your South Jackson crew. Like on paper, none of us get along, you know. But by the time we, 3 or 4 pictures in and a Euro, it was like, woo, get her done.
It just went from like South Jackson, Bellhaven to just Jacktown.
I remember V brought a girl on a date one time, just a old country girl, and she could not say Euro. She's like, what is a gyro? Gyro. He's like, what is this? You're like,
well, it's this thing you get in, they strap you in, and like you just rotate all different angles.
Like, what is this gyro you speak of?
What's this gyro?
I did. Somebody mentioned Lost Cajun environment. I knew that once we started, everybody like hit me with these other places. Love Lost Cajun. They've actually been really cool to me too. We really try to support businesses with this page, artists, local stuff. It may be a chain, but it doesn't mean it doesn't hire local people. And I like to remind people of that. Like even these fast food restaurants, Walmart even, they hire local people that pay taxes into the community. And if I can support a legit locally owned, like the owner takes my money at the register, that's always going to be first in my heart. Mm-hmm. But if I can't, I at least like somebody who bought a franchise, and is supporting, and God knows
there's great stuff. There's great stuff here locally, man. Between your musicians, your artists, your bars, your restaurants, live music venues. If people around here spent as much time supporting all the good as they do bitching about the bad, there would be no bad to bitch about.
Yep.
Like that's that to me is exactly what's wrong. There's so much good we could be supporting. So many great things, man. So much good food around here. This is Jackson, Mississippi.
My mom asked what was the name of that restaurant on Shady Lane at Raymond Road. That was Punchy's, Mom. Then somebody mentioned in Crochelle's. JJ. What's up, JJ? Man, look, we're going to get to a ton of stuff. My Aunt Betty asked, is Chad going to sing? Chad is going to sing. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Man, we're going to run through a bunch of this. Crystal's over there on comment watch, so we're going to try to not stare at the phone the whole time, and if anything interesting pops up. And there's another Clay Edwards, by the way. This always trips me out. He sent me a friend request not too long ago. Mississippi State fan. I think he lives out in Terry. And so like we'll get to commenting on each other's stuff, and it's the weirdest thing in the world. It's like a conversation full of nothing but Clay Edwards.
Y'all should change your profile pics to the same thing. Just throw the whole world off.
I know. I worked with a guy named Clayton Edwards who's into race cars and all that before. So there's like 2 other Clay Edwards that I know of, and I'm definitely social media friends with both of them. So it's kind of weird, and I'm going to guess I'm probably the most hated of the bunch. So I'm sure they catch hell.
Well, you and I both have 4-letter names that have an A as the third letter. So
yeah,
that's just one of those weird coinky dinks. Can you still say coinky dink?
By the way, is where we get that barbecue.
Do what?
Raceway.
Well, yeah, but it is an Exxon.
Yeah, that's their fuel sponsor, and then the actual store is Raceway. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
fire barbecue, boy.
Yeah, man. The thing about barbecue, like I love to cook and grill. I mean, I haven't done it as much, like social media wise, as I used to, because I just kind of found other interest. And there's so many other great cooks that it's like, man, I kind of kick back and let them have it. Guys like Eddie Wright, Abe Morris, Joe Jafria, the Grills of Mississippi crew. I mean, I feel like if I name people, I'm going to leave people out, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
I love to grill. I make my grilling life so hard on myself.
As cheap as ribs are at the gas station and as good as they are, it's really hard for me not to just say, I'm just going to go to the gas station and get ribs. You know, now steak, I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody on a steak, you know, but my buddy Jonesy Q, you know, best barbecue rubs ever, locally made, you know.
If you're older than 30 and you don't think you grill the greatest steak in the world, what are you even doing with your life? Like, if you're not perfecting your steak game post 30 years old, I mean, what are you doing? Like, really?
You know, my Facebook memories are a great measuring stick of what
much. I know where you're going, but yeah,
of how good I used to think I could cook versus what I feel pretty damn confident about now is the greatest steak in the world. You know, as you start learning, and there's two schools, right? When it comes to steak, there's that a good steak only needs salt and pepper crew, and then there's the crew that understands that rubs and marinades and seasonings have come a long way.
Yes,
and salt and pepper does work. It'll get you out of a pinch.
Well, can I say this in respect to that? So, as the greatest steak cooker in the world, because you're supposed to say that about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I look at the quality of a piece of meat that I'm about to throw on the grill. If it is a very, very high quality piece of meat, yes, I am olive oil, sea salt, cracked pepper guy. You know, like I'm in there just you know.
No, but sea salt, cracked pepper, different story.
Yeah,
you know.
So, but if it's a lower grade cut of meat, and you know I'm having that kind of working against me instead of for me, then yeah, marinades all day, marinades, rubs.
Man, I'm gonna tell you when Crystal got some stuff recently, and I'd kind of grown past the marinade. I like the low MSG Dales because it's more thick. It's
bought that recently, yes, and the cool thing is like you don't run out of it. You just keep adding water to it.
Yeah,
just keep adding water to it. You got 3 bottles out of it.
The high salt Dales is like teriyaki sauce, real thin. I'm not teriyaki, soy sauce, real thin and salty. Where the low MSG is real thick. Yeah. And so she just stumbled across something one day and got it, and it was Tony Satri's marinades, and they have one for every different kind of meat. And she's like, "Well, you don't want to try these in this Tony Satri steak steak marinade?" I was like, "Well, I mean, I guess." You know, it seems sacrilegious. So I was at work. She marinated the steaks. We got home. We cooked them. I was like, oh, my God. I mean, I don't want to sit here and say it was just the best ever, but it was such a nice change.
Oh, yeah.
That we've been doing it a lot more. And I was blown away. I know people are like, oh, you know, that's not, you're cheating. I mean, if it's good, it's good. I don't care.
Do you cook with a lot of, can I say alternative seasonings? Do you cook with like cumin, curry, any stuff like that?
No.
Which is, I know, cumin and curry maybe? No.
No, we keep it pretty. I say pretty simple. I mean, we use a lot of different seasonings. You know.
I use bacon grease.
Yes, bacon grease.
Hey, that's what my mama used. It wasn't nothing for her to fry some bacon in the morning, pour that grease into a bowl, stick it in the refrigerator, let it harden, and then throw it in some greens or some beans or something. Cook it down. Yeah, man, that's good Southern cooking.
I love all my vegetables.
Now I'm gonna tell you one of my secrets though is like we've gotten big into the air fryer as far as like our starches. You know,
trying to get on the air fryer game. Brandy and I had bad luck with that. We ordered one and the handle broke as soon as we tried to open it, so we sent it back to Amazon. Hadn't got a new one yet.
We got one as a wedding gift. I can't remember who gave it to us off the top of my head, but if you gave us the air fryer, thank you. We're using it every day. It took a while to get into it. It's a little intimidating to learn how to use an entirely new form of cooking.
Yeah, cooking with air.
But I'm gonna tell you, frozen tater tots.
They're so good.
In the air fryer.
The bacon.
And oh yeah, bacon, the thick cut bacon in the air fryer. You kind of wrap it over the wraps and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then if your thing's clean on the bottom, good, you take it and drain the bacon fat, and it gives you good, crisp, clean bacon fat to use for making vegetables unhealthy.
Oh yeah, and making vegetables. No. The way you delivered that was so nonchalant. It was like, for making your vegetables unhealthy.
Look, man,
that's what we do here.
My grandmother will send over like a green bean. Big thing of green beans or butter beans or whatever cooked, and she still loves sending us food, and we love eating it. And it's like, oh yeah, good. I need some vegetables. I've been eating too much meat or carbs and stuff lately. And you'll eat it, and it'll go in the fridge, and you'll got to pull it out to reheat it. And it's got this.
Looks like you can play ice hockey on top of it.
It looks like somebody melted Elmer's glue in it. And I like. We call my grandmother's name was Pretty Mama. You know, everybody's got that nickname for their grandma. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Pretty Mama did not make these healthy. But, you know, she's 84 and kicking, you know.
Oh,
I mean,
but damn, the flavor
you know,
is so rich and good, man.
I think it's a lot to be said for that Southern fried
Man,
diet, you know.
you won't beat it. I've eaten in 10 different countries. I've eaten from the West Coast to the East Coast. You will never beat good Mississippi cooking, man.
No.
Ever.
Our women here, you know,
Are the prettiest in the country.
yeah, it goes without prettiest. pound for pound.
I'm not. Yeah, dude, Mississippi women are the prettiest women in the whole country, bar none.
That can cook.
That can cook. Yeah,
That can cook.
and,
so it's like
and probably shoot and kill and clean what it is we're eating.
I mean, it's a double qualifier. I mean,
Yeah.
best cooks and prettiest women, and then you combine it together.
Absolutely.
And it's no surprise to anybody that they get married so young, and you know it takes a while to.
I'm gonna scoop that old gal up. I'm gonna scoop her up, marry her off.
Just got a notification from Waiter they're having a special on deliveries. So
Where were you earlier?
if you are wanting some local food delivered today, Waiter is running a free delivery on $15 or more. So I believe the code is OMG Food. So free delivery through Waiter. Just hit up a locally owned place like a Capitol Grill, or I don't know if Martin's is open on Sundays, but you know, find you a locally owned spot and get some free delivery today if you spend $15.
Definitely hit up Lance and them over at Capitol Grill. They got some great food, great wings, great cuisines. Yeah, man, that'd be a good one.
You know, let's talk about bars. That's a
Let's.
nice segue here. And by bars, I mean live music venues, not just alcohol.
And that's kind of how it is in Jackson. If we serving food and alcohol, we got somebody playing a stringing instrument.
Absolutely. So we've got, you know, everybody who watches this and knows me knows that I'm a staunch defender of the service industry.
Oh God, yes, man.
And I am their voice. I have made it my hill to die on to be their advocate. And if I perceive something being done wrong to them, I'm going to be the loudest voice in the room. So with that said, you play a lot of spots. Mm-hmm. You've been around the country, around the world, in some cases. What's your favorite, the best place you've ever played? Let's keep it local. In Mississippi, particularly. What is or maybe let's do it two ways. What was your all-time favorite gig, and what is your current favorite place to play?
All right, so I do two types of shows. I do one with my band, and that's the ones I probably publicize the most. Anyone who really truly follows me know that I publicize my band shows. I don't really publicize my solo shows because I kind of consider myself a meat jukebox in the corner. Let everybody drink, eat, and socialize. I'm not trying to just be Chad Wesley when I'm playing solo. But my solo show has its own character to it, you know. But when I bring the band out, hey, I got folks with me. We finna throw down. So I publicize that more. As far as playing with my full band goes, I absolutely love playing Martin's. Love playing Martin's. They've worked so hard to create such a genuine quality live music venue that you can... And it's kind of like that old feel from like Electric Cowboy Headliners days where you didn't have to be in the same bar, but you didn't have to leave.
Yeah.
You know? So Martin's got a nice vibe going on. You have the live music room, you have the bar area of the live music venue, and then you can walk your way back up to the restaurant area, and then you have a whole patio area to get that outside experience. So I love playing there with my band as far as doing like a full-fledged concert. Now, as far as playing solo shows, I love playing solo shows at any of the Georgia Blue restaurants.
You know, I've only been to the new one in Madison once. That was with you after we went to the Scarecrow car show back in October.
Oh man, that was a good time.
The week I got my new car.
Yeah, you did.
I want to say.
Yeah.
So we went out to that, and you were like, "Hey, let's go by here," and love that. Georgia Blue is probably my favorite. How do I say it? I don't want to say it's my favorite restaurant because I think Wendell is going to take that from me just overall.
Yeah, that's your staple right there.
But it's personal relationships involved there too, you know. Mm-hmm. But Georgia Blue, just pound for pound, I always tell people like, well, what do they sell? I'm like, if it's on the menu and you like that type food, you're gonna love what they have.
Yeah.
You know, like if you like pasta, you're gonna love their pasta. If you like a burger, they're good.
It's a low key, multi-genre type menu, but it's served with that southern wholesomeness. You know, on a high-end cuisine platform for reasonable prices.
It really is. I mean, they have found
a niche. Yeah.
A niche. And it's kind of a weird thing. They call it Georgia Blue, so people think it has something to do with Georgia, but that's his kid's name, right?
His
Georgia.
daughter, yeah, Jason's daughter's name is Georgia, and she, and I was sitting in his office with him when we were, negotiating the sponsorship contract for my tour, and I asked him, I was like, hey, I feel like family here, so tell me the history of the place, and he takes me down the whole run through of how it all came together. But he said initially it was him and his wife just going back and forth. What do we name this restaurant? What do we name it? And he said at the time, Georgia, his daughter, was very, very young, just starting to talk. And she was like, Daddy, just call it Georgia Blue. And he said, he looked at his wife, well, decision's been made. That's a girl dad right there. Right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
When the daughter says it, that's what you go with. So
and then
Georgia Blue was the name of it.
And then they grow up.
And then
can we change the name?
Yeah, Georgia. Yeah, Georgia actually recently graduated, I believe. Yeah, so
nice.
so it's been a long working process, but the cool thing about Georgia Blue is, they may not have a Jackson location, but they are a metro business, and they're still a part of this state, and they are locally owned. They're very family oriented, so it's just a really good company.
Well, let's be honest. Their platform, their business model, isn't necessarily based on what's available in Jackson right now.
Yeah.
I don't know that it works in Jackson. You gotta have lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
In most places in Jackson, really, I know that, let's pretend Fondren doesn't exist for a minute. For the most part, you got, everywhere in Jackson, either lunch or dinner. Mm-hmm. If it's in that Capitol Street business district area, it's really just lunch. I know there's a few exceptions to the rule.
Some places will choose one or the other to be their niche, and then some places try to score both ends of the spectrum.
I mean, you've got the Mayflower.
Yeah.
And my dad sat up late last night with us, talking to us, and we were talking about old restaurants and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he was like, did you know that the Mayflower used to damn near be open 24 hours a day? He said, you could go in the Mayflower at 5 in the morning after a long night, just like Waffle House.
God, that would be stellar now.
And I never knew that. Yeah. That you could eat, you could go to Mayflower and get breakfast at 5 in the morning, or you could go in the afternoon. It was open all day and night.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Me either, dude. And I was like,
when I go out, I go to Jackson. When I go out, I go to Jackson. I'm going to give my money to Jackson. That would be great to be able to eat there at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Now, there's some cool people doing some stuff downtown. And, we had the club for 10 years on Capitol Street.
Imagine having the club you had then on this Capitol Street.
Yeah, man, it would be a game changer.
It would be a game changer.
I wouldn't have time to do this. I wouldn't be angry Jacksonian. I guess I probably would be, especially in the COVID times.
Yeah.
So you said your favorite place to play locally is Martin's, and I hands down
with my band, yes.
Yeah, with your band
and Georgia Blue to play solo.
And look, and shout out to the Georgia Blue crew, and shout out to Chris Rybolt and that band, that group, crew at Martin's. When Calvin had it, my dad was friends with Calvin. Mm-hmm. Calvin's daughter's ex-husband I grew up with on this street, actually. And, getting a bit historic there, but what's your all-time favorite show? We swap those out for cold ones.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Please.
My all-time favorite show in Jackson.
Yeah, I need a beer.
Yeah, I'll take another one if you're kind enough.
Give me household ones.
So lucky to have you here with us. So my all-time favorite show in Jackson, it's really a tie between 3 shows. So when I opened for George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic at the Jackson Coliseum, I have to put that at number 1 for a reason. Because if you are a musician that has grown up in the Jackson area like I have, even though I grew up about 40 minutes outside of the city, I still moved here when I was 18, and I've been living in this area performing live for the last almost 20 years. I have to put that one number 1 because as a kid, when my parents would bring me into Jackson and stuff, and I'd see that big yellow and red Coliseum off afar, man, one day I'm going to play there. So it was like living a small dream,
Did Buck and Dusty have anything to do with helping you get that show? Y'all kind of grew up in the same circle?
Actually, that time they didn't, and usually and I'm actually going to lead into another show that I want to say is my favorite that they did have something to do with.
Love those guys.
Yeah, I mean Buck was a groomsman in my wedding.
Yep.
They're the Allman Brothers. But yeah, the opening for Parliament Funkadelic at the Coliseum, and then number 2 to that, I want to say it was 2011. Yeah, thank you. Buck and Dusty had put a Blackberry Smoke concert on.
Was that the one outdoors?
Outdoors
At
of
Old Tavern there?
At Old Tavern. They did it in 2011, and it was Chad Wesley Band, US, and Blackberry Smoke.
Yep, I remember
that was probably one of the greatest shows I've ever played in Jackson. That was 2011. It was St. Patty's Day. Man, I enjoyed that show.
Now, I'm going to tell you what one of my personal favorite Chad Wesley shows, and I'm a bit biased because it was one of my shows.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't remember the details. It was my birthday weekend, 07, 08, somewhere in there. We brought One Less Reason to town.
Yes. Oh, yes. And then we did it.
And we did a two-nighter.
Did a two-night thing. Yeah, we made a whole weekend of it.
We did acoustic at Reed Pearson's. Were you a part of that show?
Yeah. So the acoustic show that we did at Reed Pierce's the night on that Friday night, One Less Reason opened for us, and we did a full band show, and they did an acoustic set, and then the next night we opened for them as a live band. I think we did it at Gators.
Hallowell's. We did it at the big room at Hallowell's.
Yeah, big room at Hallowell's. That's what it was.
I mean, One Less Reason, it's people forget it easily now, but I mean, they were as big as Three Doors Down.
Yeah, they were.
Kryptonite era, kind of on their way up. I mean, if we did a One Less Reason show, it was a sellout.
Yeah.
So did you come back to the house that night? But come back here after the Reed Pierce show?
No, I didn't come back that night, but I do remember the Elvis night. We got to talk about that.
That was a great one.
We got to talk about that.
So after the Reed Pierce show, we all come back here. It's Chops, Trig, I'm sure Bo Cadillac was here.
Yeah, Cadillac had to be there.
I can't remember who all it was. I want to say my friends Blake and Mindy. And if I'm throwing some names out there that weren't here, I'm sorry. In my mind, you were.
You were here.
But at some point in the evening, I remember walking into the kitchen, and Chops, and I can't remember who else. I want to say Trig. I really want to say Trig for some reason. Or maybe it was one of the guys in One Less Reason. We're standing at the refrigerator naked, fighting over a bottle of Jaeger.
That sounds like those times.
And man, it was just a good time. The whole band crashed here. I mean, it was a blast, dude. But that show, and then the next night, once the cobwebs kind of cleared at Hallowell's, I mean, that was just a absolute
that was a killer show.
Throwdown, man.
And then I did several shows. One Less Reason. I opened for them at Club Fire one night, and it was my first time I had ever did an all original show. I didn't do any covers. I just did all of my music, and it was so well received. And I feel like that was if I had to add a third greatest show in my history of coming up in Jackson, it would be that night at Fire that I opened for One Less Reason, and I did my first all original show. Because to get started, it don't matter who you are. Get started in any scene. You're playing covers, bro. There's no way around it. You're playing covers. So to go out on your own and play originals changes the game.
One Less Reason's sound guy is watching now. JJ.
What's up, JJ? I just worked with him at a wedding, a private party not too long ago.
JJ says new One Less Reason record coming soon. So,
yeah, give that shout out. One Less Reason record coming soon.
Chris Brown never disappoints.
Never.
Just like Chad Wesley, never disappoints.
May I actually use this as a segue to announce on Save Jackson?
Breaking. I don't know. I keep looking at the phone. The camera's over here. Breaking news right here. You heard it here first. Breaking news on Save Jackson.
I am in the works to start my third and follow-up record to Bluesy. So my new record will be coming out at the early part of next year. So we are in the process of making that happen. So yes, there is a new Chad Wesley album in the works. I did not use my downtime in quarantine unwisely. There's been a lot of writing and a lot of demoing going on. Probably going to be giving y'all the best stuff I've ever done before. Probably what will send me over that little hump that I've initially been having a hard time getting over.
Well, I felt like Bluesy would have done that, but you took some body blows.
Oh yeah,
when Bluesy came out, from the first night you let me and Jake hear it on our men's retreat.
Yeah, it wasn't even a printed copy of it. It was just like a burnt CD. I was like, all right, this is going to be my new album. Y'all sit out here and just chill with me and listen to this.
Yeah, that was great. We came back from a Bret Michaels concert on the coast, and Jake calls and says, man, y'all stop by the house in Florence and we'll cook a steak. And shoot, man, we ended up spending the night and raising hell and talking about conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
and
aliens.
aliens, Alex Jones, Jake cooked steak, Chad played piano.
Yeah, it was a great night.
Dude, it was just one of those wild nights. He's like, oh, hey, by the way, I've got my new album.
Hey, by the way, I've got my new album. You want to hear it?
That nobody in the world's heard yet.
So we sat outside and listened to it in the Mercedes, which has a great sound system. So it was a great presentation of the album.
And Jake lives in the sticks.
Yeah, so we were able to turn it up so loud.
Like way out on
y'all were both like, wow, man, this came from a Jackson artist. This is incredible.
Yeah.
But
Rain became my favorite song instantly.
Yeah, I've played that in multiple weddings.
You know,
it ended up becoming the wedding
this
song.
morning.
It ended up becoming the wedding song, man. It's everybody's wedding song. My song Rain. But no, you're right. I did get such a bout of bad luck, and like I can't even talk about like what happened right after I released it. I've got to take it all the way back to the beginning of the album, right when I signed my record deal with Malico, and started that record. I was just maybe a couple of months into the writing sessions of it in the early demoing, and my wife and I went on our anniversary cruise to Mexico, spent an enchanting 7 days out in the world. As soon as we get off the ship, boot our phones back up. We're on cloud number 9. We get all these text messages that my best friend Ryan Montgomery had passed away.
I just left church.
That's how I walk back into the world of being gone for 7 days in another country. And that just emotionally derailed me. But I managed to pick myself back up in January because it happened in November. He actually passed on my wife and mine's anniversary, November 11th. Brandy and I were married 11/11/11, and he passed 11/11/17.
Shot for Ryan.
And
what was Ryan's DJ name?
Uncle Ryan.
Uncle Ryan. And if you grew up in Jackson in the late 90s, early 2000s, Ryan, Tam, Ben Phillips, rest in peace, DJ Deception, all those guys, DJ Yuri, that whole crew, Jason Anderson, those guys were the underground techno scene in Jackson. So and Ryan was the first one to actually go and went down to Full Sail and got the music degree. I mean, he really set the bar for the Jackson music scene.
There will never be a human being that could balance the fine line between being an F-up and an overachiever like Ryan could.
Then went back to Jackson State, got his electronics, some kind of major degree.
No, he went to Jackson State, got a 4-year electrical engineering degree.
That's the electrical engineering.
Passed with a 4.0 honors, top of his class.
And I was working got a great job at Entergy.
And I struggled to fill out the census recently.
Yeah.
Like Ryan was on another level, but yeah, he passed. And
I just really learned how to use there, and there properly.
Cheers to Uncle Ryan. That's how we drink in Jacktown, friends, fam.
Fireball airplane bottles.
And like, I know certain people are watching this right now. Chad, but Chad hates Fireball. Yeah, but I don't hate free liquor. I don't hate free liquor at all.
I shop with my eyes, and I went by to get a bottle of wine. Was it yesterday? Last night? Yeah, we got off work yesterday. Stopped by a drug crystal at the house. I'm like, go with me. So we got to the liquor store, and I was checking out, and they had these little 10-packs of airplane bottles, little Fireball party packs. Well, those would be nice.
Those would be fun.
Like, I had an idea, and it transitioned into this. Yeah, man, Ryan was a great dude. I mean, Ryan was a lot like me, so
headstrong.
When I say we didn't get along, it wasn't that we didn't get along. We always got along.
It was a challenging relationship,
but we were very quick to argue with each other.
Yeah,
like I call people on their BS, and he calls people on their BS, and I am on my BS a good bit of time. So if people.
I will say so. Leaving for a cruise in, out in New Orleans. So my wife and I, after we get off the cruise ship, find out Ryan's passed. My phone's blowing up. My wife and I have to drive all the way back to Jackson. I will say that I loved how you would call me about every 30 minutes and say, pull over, talk to me. Yeah. And you would let me break down. You would console me. Like, you were truly a great friend through that, and I really appreciate that. I've never got a chance to tell you that, but, like, the fact you would call me and just say, hey, bro, just pull over. I know you're driving. Get out. Just talk to me for a minute.
Stretch your legs.
Stretch your legs. Let the tears flow. And, you were just there for me. And that, there's been a million things in our past that built our friendship, but, man, just the consoling and the brotherhood that you showed just that day alone, I'll carry that with me to my grave.
Hell yeah, man.
So I just wanted to let you know that, man.
Well, I feel like I've been that guy that's lost a lot of friends.
We all have here recently.
It's
crazy.
And it just seems like it's just like body blow after body blow after body blow. And it was like I looked up and it was like, for the most part, minus about 2 people, all the 3 people I consider my lifelong best friends, were gone. It was like, man, we're not even 40 yet. You know what?
That's what's scary.
What's going on here? You know, I mean, it started with Benji Randall. You know, if you're from South Jackson, you know who Benji Randall is. Then it was Ben Phillips.
Ben passed.
Kyle Bullock.
Kyle after him.
You know, it was Kyle. I mean,
Then Micah.
yeah, Kyle Bullock, and then Micah. But
And
you know,
then Ryan.
Micah and Crystal are first cousins.
Yeah.
Of course, you know that.
Well, you know, I've never talked about this in person, but I'm going to segue into it if we're just drinking and being real. So, my wife dated Micah.
Yeah.
And
that's how I met your wife.
yeah. So
That's how I met
they
Brandy.
dated.
That's how I know Brandy.
Yeah.
So, as much as 100% Sladen is my son and I am his dad, I did not biologically create Sladen.
Yeah.
And for the first year of Sladen's life, Micah was in the picture, and he was there for all the warm the bottles up, wake up in the middle of the night, change the poopy diapers and stuff. Well, him and Brandy didn't work out, you know, such as such. And I came in shortly after Micah, and Sladen at that point was about a year old.
Yeah.
And then I picked up from there, and I've been dad ever since. So my last encounter with Micah was at Kyle's funeral, and it was the first time I'd seen him in so long. And I just walked up to him, I embraced him, and he embraced me, and just in that emotional feeling of being at Kyle's funeral. And I pulled him apart and I held him by the shoulders and I looked him in his face, and we're both like just snotty faced, teary eyed. And I told him, I said, I just want you to know that I love you and I appreciate you raising my son for that first year. You know, God wasn't ready for me to be in Sladen's life at that point, but in that first part of his life, thank you for waking up in the middle of the night. Thank you. You know, and Brandy never spoke an ill word of Micah. You know, usually an ex, you talk bad about your ex, but that was one of those situations where they just went their separate ways and they never had a foul word to say about one another. And so therefore the general consensus in my home is that Micah's a hero.
Sure.
You know, there's two different pictures of Micah hanging on my refrigerator. And though my son, of course, doesn't remember him, he was only an infant, we make sure to keep Micah's legacy alive with him. I'm like, hey, this man had a part in raising you in these years of your life.
Very, very important.
Yeah, and you know, this is me, y'all. This is me being very, very personal with y'all right now, and I'm not known for being very personal because I feel like the world can use your personal stuff against you.
And that's what we're going to do with these Sunday conversations.
Yeah,
they're going to be friends talking. You may not know who the next guy is that I'm talking to, but it's people that I think have great, interesting stories, and they can peel them out of me as well.
Yeah,
and Chad's very good at that. So if you're here for Jackson drama like we normally do during the week, this is going to be something a little different. It's going to be more Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
you know, just buddies talking, you know, about life, love, and the pursuit of everything.
This is an off-brand digital church.
Absolutely,
it's an off-brand digital church right
This
here.
page has the most followers, so it's the one I'm using. You know,
and I know there's a lot of you that have come up in the Jackson scene either as a musician or as a live music listener, or someone just like to go out and party and have a good time. I would almost bet my life that you have more stories of just true, heartfelt, godly moments out in those bars and clubs than you probably did in your local churches or schools or institutions of any sort. Because babies and drunks tell no lies.
No.
Babies and drunks tell no lies. So you culminate. You don't remember them specifically, but you know that you had those moments in the clubs where, girl, I love you. Oh my God, I love you too. Or bro, let's just squash it, dog. I love you. You know,
you're my best friend.
You're my
best friend forever.
But hey, you know what? Those are godly moments, and you take them where you can get them. What are we saying?
Dawn says we got her all teary-eyed driving down the road. Thank you for all the stories. Dawn, thank you. You go way back. Woodstock. Way back. Thank y'all for watching. Yeah, man, we got some great. Listen, what did JJ say? He said, I'd love to come sometime, Clay Edwards. JJ, man, me and you go way back now.
Oh, that's some stories right there.
I lived in a studio apartment on the Sunset Strip, well, right off the Sunset Strip on Alameda Boulevard, with JJ, Dirty D, and Chops. Now, in my mind, I was there like a year, Mom swears I was only there for 14 days before I begged,
what she told me.
before I begged her to buy me a plane
Hey,
ticket to
Albert
come home.
Einstein. Albert Einstein said, "Time is relative to matter." Yeah, so
Yeah.
time is relative, bro.
I was there long enough to run out of money. It's like I left a really good life in Jackson, Mississippi. Let me get back.
You say years. She says 14 days.
Yeah, it was somewhere in between.
Somewhere, 365 versus 14. What you do?
I remember I'd never flown commercial. I rode the train out there. I'm scared of flying. My biological dad owned a Cessna with another family, and they crashed and died in it. Same plane we used to fly in. So, or some version of that. At that plane crash, people died.
And I love to fly.
And so I rode the train. My parents took me to New Orleans. I got on the train there and rode west by myself all the way to L.A. and got out at Grand Central Station, whatever it is there. Dirty D picked me up. Daryl Arnold, Dirty D, and
Hey, y'all.
picked me up, and man, we just had a great time. But I rode the train because I was scared to fly, and I was so ready. I was so broke and so ready to get home. I called my mom. I think probably 6 o'clock that night. I want to come home, and so they booked me a flight for like 6 in the morning, and I didn't fly to LAX. Flew out of Santa Barbara and to Phoenix. To somewhere in
I never
Texas.
knew you lived in L.A.
Yeah.
For 1 year and 14 days.
Yeah.
14 days.
So, I mean, the coolest thing in the world. Well, finish. So, from from Santa Barbara, or John Wayne Airport,
Yeah.
which I guess they changed the name now because, that's racist, to Phoenix, to somewhere in Texas, to Atlanta, back to Jackson. Or to Charlotte and back to Jackson. It was a crazy...
As someone who's flown to Los Angeles many times,
Yeah.
they'll take you to Europe, to Canada, back down to Mexico, over to Atlanta, and then maybe over to Texas, and then finally to L.A.
So, when I get there, growing up as a hair metal fan, a kid in the 80s, 90s, whatever, the Rainbow Bar and Grill is the mecca.
Please tell me what year this is, like at least...
It's 99.
99.
99.
So
it's peak Limp Bizkit era.
Oh, yeah, that's 10 years after the hairband hangover.
Yeah. So, Daryl picks me up, and he's like, well, the first place we're going is the Rainbow. We're going to Rainbow.
We're going to Rainbow.
Rainbow. I can't even get my voice that deep. We're going to Rainbow. And you're coming up Sunset Strip, you're just seeing all this shit you've seen on TV your whole life, being from Mississippi. And, of course, you can't order anything in L.A. or talk without people noticing you're not from there.
Yeah.
Well, we don't think we sound like rednecks until we get to L.A.
Yeah, and you got there and they're like, why do you talk so slow? And you're like, well...
And so we walk in the Rainbow, the legendary Guns N' Roses. Everybody's filmed their videos there,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the November Rain video was filmed in the Rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
And we walk in, and we got on the patio, and there's just a scruffy looking, homeless looking dude sitting there at the end of the bar playing the Mega Touch machines. And I'm like, who is... He's like, Daryl's like, it's Lemmy. I'm like, who?
Lemmy.
He's like, Lemmy. I'm like, Motorhead
Like,
Lemmy?
Motorhead Lemmy?
Like Ace of Spades? Yeah. Like, Lemmy? He's like, it's Lemmy. I was like, shit.
You're
I walk up, and apparently the rule is you're not supposed to talk to Lemmy. It's
Right.
like, just leave him alone. And I was like, are you Lemmy? He's like, did you just call me Lemon? So like, that's my Lemmy story. It's like Lemmy thought I called him Lemon.
This sounds like someone tells you the next day, man, I had a nightmare the night before that I just met Lemmy and I called him Lemon.
Lemon. You're like,
But it's a real thing, like it actually happened.
So we were watching this documentary the other night about the Sunset Strip. And about the rainbow and all that. Well, actually, it was really about the rainbow. That they put it together. And which they also own the big, the Troubadour. Is it the Troubadour next door, I want to say? No,
Yeah,
the
Troubadour.
whiskey. The people that own
whiskey,
the
Troubadour,
started out as
Rainbow, Viper, all those.
well, the people who owned the whiskey started the Rainbow. The whiskey came first, legendary, So I got to hang out in the whiskey. Got to hang out at the Rainbow, obviously. Did some crazy things there. And then what was cool is the Viper Room was the spot. It's where what's his name died out front. The guy from Lost Boys, not Lost Boys, from
River Phoenix.
River Phoenix died out front of they got him. They got the chalk line still.
Viper Room?
Viper Room, yeah.
Yeah.
So the band that
Johnny Depp on that club.
yeah. So the band that's playing that night is a little band called Danger Kitty that did Discovery Card commercials. And it was they were like a spoof. They were a joke, but they played there every Monday night. They did 80s hair metal covers. Well, that band today is still Panther.
Really?
Yeah.
I love Steel Panther.
Love Steel Panther, man.
So Danger Kitty.
Shout out to my boy Paul Babineau on that Steel Panther and Josh Arnold on Steel Panther.
So I mean, they were actually Steel Panther then, but their fake name was Danger Kitty for the commercials. But they were a real band, obviously. So Daryl's like, "It's a Danger Kitty," you know. And we end up at this other little bar and end up seeing, like, you know, you got to be an old school '80s hair metal, like dive into the third, fourth tier of '80s hair metal bands to understand and appreciate Pretty Boy Floyd and Faster Pussycat.
Oh yeah.
But I got to see both of them play some little dive. There were only like 6 people in the place, and I was front row singing every word to every song, you know. And
man, that's
I made the most of my 14 days or 2 years or whatever it was in LA.
I like 2 years. 2 years sounds good.
It does. It rolls better. So, you want to play a song for us? Anything? Are you feeling any inspiration over there?
I do. The inspiration I'm feeling right now is that this Fireball and beer, it needs me to go to the restroom and
come back and play a song?
placate some of the water in my system.
Go placate. I'll entertain
yeah.
people for a second.
Please entertain. Look, I'm going to hand the show off to him.
I'm going to tell lies.
Can you get up and go to the bathroom during a podcast? Is that even legal?
It is on this one. Because when you play a song, I'm going to do the same.
Look, if you got to pee, you got to pee.
Yeah.
That's just it.
I was interviewing somebody last week, and I was over there doing the pee-pee dance the whole time. It was like 2.5 hours.
I'm going to borrow your bathroom. I'll bring it back.
Yeah. Are we having a good time, man? This is exactly what I was hoping this would be. I know we don't have a whole lot of like just people in the room right now, but I know you guys will go back and enjoy this throughout the week. We're going to chop it up. We're going full Joe Rogan style here. We're going to give you the long form, and then I'm going to cut it up and edit into incremental conversations, performances, and when Chad gets done, we're going to do a special performance that will only be available to our Facebook supporters. So if you want to support the channel, it's $10 a month. You can cancel after 1 month. Just see the page. Look in the comments here. There's a little support button here under the comments. You can hit that. Drop that. Much appreciated. Maybe special live content. Chad and I filmed a whole nother conversation going to the book party and back. Discussing all kind of crazy politics type stuff. If you're just tuning in, we went and checked out the book release event or book signing. I call everything an album release party. It was an album release party for a book called One Direction Home, The History of South Jackson, written by Vincent Venturini and Doug Shanks. I'm going to get this in here pretty good. Let y'all see it there. I will put it's available at Lemuria, whatever. And I will put the ordering information in the comments when I get done with this. So, Sonny, I did get you one. I even got it signed for you. My buddy Sonny Evans here in the comments. I did. Mine here, pretty cool. Got him to sign it. And I got him to put Save Jackson on it. So, really excited about that. Let's see, man. I'll kind of run through some questions here. Lolly Dude, what is up, Lolly? Elrod, Erica Shea, what is up, brother? Dawn again. Jake Wimberly, we've been busting your balls on here. Ray Dowdy, Boom Boom Dowdy.
Boom Boom.
We could have a whole hour-long conversation about Boom Boom Dowdy.
Ray literally knows every single person.
Ray was there
the
for
state of
every
Mississippi.
historical event in history. Did you know that?
Every.
I mean, Ray knows who built the damn pyramids and how they did it.
He'll tell you the story. He was there.
Oh, love him to death. Hardy
Love
Case.
that
Hardy Case, I see you watching. Thank you, brother. Rhonda. Thomas Korn. What's up?
Hey, me and TK was out last night roaming the streets of Bellhaven.
I know, man. He sent me a video telling me about it. Let's see. Sonny Evans, JJ. Man, I mean, look, I don't see him in here right now, but I would be remiss. The other Daryl. Daryl McCullum. Never met you before in real life, brother, but you have been a supporter of this page since day one. I just want to say I owe you a beer one day.
The Captain America?
Yeah, the Captain America dude. Shout out. And I would be remiss, because I ain't seen him on here. Chip Matthews, you owe me a beer. I'm going to let my man Chad Wesley here perform a song.
Hold on, I gotta say a Chip Matthews segue real quick.
Oh yeah,
Chip is hands down the reason I strive for greatness. He told me.
He's hands down the reason I hate Ole Miss.
Chip told me when I was 19 years old that he only books A bands and that I'm a B band. So, but I know he didn't say it I know he didn't say it like to hurt me. He said it to boost me up because I know he low key believed in me at a very early age. But he knew, he's like, all right, everybody's kissing this young boy's ass. So I'm not gonna kiss his ass. I'm gonna tell him that, you know, I'm gonna say this to him and hopefully it fires him up.
Well, you know, when I discovered One Less Reason, I was telling Chip about it. He's like, ain't nobody gonna show up. Just a bunch of good bands on the internet. Nobody comes to see.
Total pessimist.
So I booked him at Howlin' Miles. Me and Daryl, me and Dirty D. I don't want to take all the credit. Me and Dirty D booked him. I think 5 people showed up. Chip was like, oh, because he was at Fire across the street. And he was like, oh. Well, then I rolled the dice, did it again. Thank lucky stars. Nate West at Y101 had discovered the If You Want Me song. Started playing it. So when they landed back in Jackson the second time, the number 1 song in the state was If You Want Me. So we had a complete sellout. And then Chip paid him more money to start playing Fire. No hard feelings at all. I mean, that's business.
If you don't know Chip Matthews, what have you done with your life?
I mean, Chip Matthews taught me everything I know about the club business. Everything to do and not to do. And I mean, I love him to death. Chip calls it stupid tax.
Tax.
He told me.
I like that.
Chip told me when he goes, I've already paid the stupid tax, so just listen to me and save yourself the money.
Right.
Of course I didn't. I had to learn it myself. And now I tell younger bar owners, listen to me, I've already paid the stupid tax.
And they go pay the stupid tax.
And they're going to pay the stupid tax.
It's an endless chain.
Yeah, the gift that keeps on giving. When an adult gives you some advice, damn it, start listening.
Just start listening.
You know, I think people will quit giving me good advice because they know I don't listen.
So look, you're Gen X, I'm a millennial. I have a lot of Gen Z counterparts. They're hitting their adulthood now. They're in their late teens, early 20s. I mean, my son's 13. He's technically Gen Z, but
that was like Gen I.
Well, no, after Gen Z, it becomes Generation Alpha. They're like starting back over, but in a new, segment. But like, I will say one thing about these Gen Z kids. They do a better job of listening to like, hey, that bridge up ahead, it's out. You know, they do a much better job in listening than us millennials did. You know, and Gen X. You know, Gen X and millennials, we have a love-hate relationship, but really, we're really one and the same because we both grew up in that little changing point of technology from like, hey, let me adjust the tracking on this movie to, hey, let me wipe this disc off and put it in. You know.
Well, I mean, I saw something the other day that somebody had sent a screenshot, and it was it was from Y2K. It said, "Be sure to cut your computers off before midnight, 12/31/99."
So I remember being crafty during that time. It was like October of '99, and I was on my IBM, and at this time, this IBM was like $3,000, and it had a 2 gig hard drive. 16 meg of RAM. I don't know, for all my computer nerds out there, you know how crazy that is. Had a 28K modem. But I know everybody was talking about 2K at the time, so I was like, you know what? I went over there and like right-clicked on the bottom to my little calendar and stuff, and then I changed it to December 31st, 1999, and I let it roll over, and my computer acted completely fine. And
everybody's did.
So I was like... So then, for the last 3 months of '99, I was sitting there going, I don't think things are going to be as bad as they say they are. And I remember literally standing in the streets at a house party, and then boom, Happy New Year 2000, and we're expecting the streetlights to go out, martial law, things to explode, and nothing happened. And we're like,
go out everywhere.
What biggest letdown? Then I come to realize that Y2K was just the zipper on my Levi's.
Oh, I know.
That's for the smart kids.
That's crazy. So what are you going to play for us?
Man, I'm gonna. Since we've been talking about local, I'm gonna do my song "Guitar Man" because that's the one where I probably get the most personal and talk about where I came up and where I'm from.
Let's do it. All right, here, right now, Chad Wesley, acoustic and live from the Save Jackson World Headquarters. Guitar Man.
Justice League Headquarters.
Justice League Headquarters.
I was raised in Mississippi. I was born in Alabama. was raised in Mississippi, but I was born in Alabama. I cut my teeth down in Jackson, yeah, trying to learn to be a guitar man. Well, my mama gave me the good book. My daddy put a 6-string in my hand. Yeah, my mama gave me that good book. My daddy put a 6-string in my hand. Oh, my sweet mama tried to save my soul, but my daddy, he done made me a guitar man. I met the devil down in the Delta. He told me to take him by the hand. I met the devil down in the Delta. Told me to take him by the hand. He said, you may be a real smart boy, but I'm the one that made your daddy a guitar man. No matter where I roam, I carry Josephine across the land. No matter where I roam, I carry Josephine across the land. She's the only real thing ever made me a guitar man.
Cha-cha-cha.
Cha-cha-cha. Yeah.
Man, only at Save Jackson will you get live performances from the greatest guitar player in Mississippi on a Sunday afternoon.
You're too kind. You're too kind. You're too kind. I try.
You got any great solos? What's your favorite guitar solo that you're comfortable playing?
I'm gonna okay. I'm gonna tell you what my favorite guitar solo is. Not one that I play, but I've got to tell you this because of just our relationship and what initially made us friends. Like, we knew of each other in the beginning.
Hold that thought. Where can they go right now and get that song?
That song, Guitar Man, that's off my most recent album, Bluesy. You can find that on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Amazon,
iTunes, everything.
not MySpace. You can find it on a lot of places.
I use Amazon Prime Music.
Yeah, it's definitely on Amazon.
It's definitely there.
Just look up Chad Wesley, Bluesy. That's my album, Bluesy with a Z. Bluezy. And the name of the song is Guitar Man.
Cool. All right, so favorite guitar solo.
Favorite guitar solo. I love the guitar solo from Nothing But a Good Time.
Oh, yeah.
By Poison. So look, I just feel like it just has so many levels. When you think CC's about to just climax, he just goes to a whole another level. And everybody's like, but Chad, you're a blues guy. I thought we were going to hear like, a B.B. King or a Stevie Ray solo. Yes, of course, blues is a huge influence to me. That is why I named that album Bluesy, because it didn't matter if I played Rage Against the Machine for you guys. Y'all always, man, that's bluesy, Chad. So bluesy was the word that I always heard from y'all to describe me, so I just named that last album Bluesy because I made that record with Malico, the blues label of blues labels.
Now, you still on Malico?
Currently, yes, I am. We're seeing where that relationship goes.
Gotcha.
And nowadays, you know, there's a plethora of options available for an artist.
We won't get into your business. But Malico, legendary.
Legendary.
I don't have to tell y'all.
They celebrated their 50th year anniversary the year I released my album, so it was a nice culmination. But I did name
They
Blue.
started a whole new imprint just for you, basically.
Yeah. Old Trace Records. Old Trace Records was home to me.
Jason Turner,
the goat, Jason Turner. That's the goat of Jackson
I've got
music.
so many Jason Turner at Crazy 8 stories.
How about that Papa Roach story?
About
that. But yes, Jason Turner, Framing the Red. My boys are Framing the Red.
I still got that ad upstairs, by the way.
Oh, I got to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Framing the Red, they're on there. Stacey and Cassie, our boy Ron Etheridge, God bless him.
Now, did they sign Burnham Road?
They did sign Burnham Road, but I'm not sure what went down. But you know, nothing drama. No one's talking drama. Yeah. I just think Burnham Road may have chosen another path.
Gotcha,
you know?
gotcha.
But,
I just remembered hearing something about that. And the brother sister there, man, they are strong.
Yeah, I'll be the first to say I'm not a shit starter. I'm a shit finisher, but not a shit starter. So, like, I'm not saying anything negative. I don't want everybody.
Oh yeah, we're not spilling any
negative beans here.
No tea.
I love TJ. I love Lauren. They're great. Burnham Road. They can be singing around here whenever the world lets us start playing live music again. That's a whole nother conversation.
We're gonna have COVID Fest at some point.
We do. We need a COVID Recovery Fest.
Now, I was talking to Daryl a couple of days ago. I saw Melissa Kirksey do a very passionate. If y'all don't know, Melissa owns BB's Live, Bonnie Blair's.
Well, yeah, formerly Bonnie Blair is now BB's Live. Probably top 3 live music venues in the metro now.
It's definitely the number one east of the Pro.
Oh, hands down. You know, hands down, they get the best bands.
Martin's.
Martin's, if you want to see good original music. If you want to see good original music mixed with some good cover bands, BB's Live and Pops are definitely your 2 leading live music venues.
You know, look, man, shout out to Josh and Jimmy at Pops and Josh's girlfriend Kristen. They've been very good to this page. Yeah. And Pete at the Hideaway. When Pete wants to be the best music venue in the state, Pete has the ability to be the best music venue.
It's a light switch for him.
All he's got to do is cut it on. I mean, but Pete's a financial sense guy, and if a DJ playing booty shaking music all night makes the most dollars, it makes the most sense.
Pete's claim to fame is that he kept a very drunk Chad and a very drunk Clay from fighting each other one night.
Now, I'm glad you brought it up because I was trying to figure out a way to segue that. So I told this page last week, or earlier this week actually. I was like, we were talking about David Archie getting on the news and raising hell about Polo and the Cypher. Yeah. And how mad he was and all that. I said, the only time I've ever been that mad is when somebody was telling the truth about me and I didn't like it. and Chad Wesley found my nerve one night. I'd had a bad month, man. I'd been fired from my own bar. My best friend at the Kyle Bullock, God rest his soul, replaced me at my own bar, which I wasn't mad at Kyle, no hard feelings. I'm not saying anything like that. Right. I completely understood. But it was just, I was dealing with a lot of salt on an open wound at the time. And I was up at the Hideaway for One Less Reason. I think it was the night we had the One Less Reason show there, maybe. Or right around that time. Yeah, it was that night. Because I moved the One Less Reason show after I got fired from my own bar. And I'm sitting at the bar, and Chad just, we were having our differences. And
Because I was classic me, fence riding. I was on both sides of the spectrum. I was there in Clay's world, but I was also functioning in the world that had just shunned you. So I was on both sides of that fence.
He had taken over the booking at the bar that I started and just been fired from. So,
oh man.
So, but no hard feelings. I would have done the same thing. You know, I mean, hindsight being 20/20. But it doesn't make me any less mad at the time. Well, Chad looks over at me at the bar and he says something. And I didn't understand it. I was like, what? And he's like, well, if you hadn't have been drunk, you would still have your bar. I was like, hadn't have been drunk. Hadn't I've been drunk.
I said something to that effect. Actually, what I said was to that effect. I said, because you kind of went on just a full diatribe about like all they were doing. And I was like, well, I think they're moving on. I think they're just trying to do something different. You were just still fired up about it. And then I just said, I just don't think they're studying you the way you're studying them. What the? And then Clay went full ballistic, and I'm like, "Hey, chill out, bro." And then Pete's running over there.
Yeah.
It was quite a night. And Ryan was actually involved that night. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Like it just turned into a total shit show, but it was hilarious.
You had a bunch of lifelong friends trying to fight each other.
Yeah, like
because it was two camps. One camp had been split in two.
And see, I hate bipolar, like the polarization. That's what I mean, not bipolar, but the polarization of a situation. I hate being on one side or the other because I feel like I'm the kind of person that can see both sides of the coins, and I see everyone's transgressions and everyone's achievements and whatnot. So it was like a weird situation because I had my friendship and history with you. And I felt like you were seeing their side the wrong way. But I was over there telling them, y'all are seeing Clay's side the wrong way. And I just chose the wrong words at the wrong time.
Well, and what we talked about later on one of our trips to Biloxi to see Brett Michaels was, I tried to put you where I was in my mindset at that point. Mm-hmm. We're not going to name his name. It's a fake-ass mother bleeper. Lives here locally, bipolar, piece of trash. But I ain't going to say his name. Trash. Started a podcast recently, and loves to bash everybody. Loves to get in everybody's business. Loves to be a bartender because he gets disability and can't get his money from anywhere else.
Ooh.
So he has to get it cash.
Bombs dropped.
You may know what I'm
Jackson.
talking about.
Bombs dropped on Save Jackson today.
So with that said, he had been in there doing all this dropping little poison pills everywhere.
Oh, the great manipulator. He could play both sides against the middle better than anybody I've ever met in my life.
And I'd had enough at that point. And so between that and trying to, once I said no, man, my problem was really with him, and I was ready to get out of it. I was like, man,
I could tell you were reaching the end because God, at that point you had already been in the club business 15 years.
Since I opened up Crazy 8 in 01, but my first jobs were working for Inez.
Yeah.
Back in 97, 98, working the door on Bailey Avenue. And I never got out of it. So I started there. Chip and Daryl brought me into Buffalo Chips, which is the old Bar Nothing and the boat shop next to Shuckers now. Smith Marine, whatever. It was Gators and a dozen other things, And I went from there, lived in L.A. for 2 weeks or a year, whatever, depending on the story you believe.
6 one way, half a dozen the other.
Came back. And one of the little known places that I had was right there on the corner of, it was actually before Crazy 8. It ended up being Little Pops. Mm. But me and a couple of guys got it, and we opened, and JJ was one of them. We got it, and we called it Bazookas. It was a little just right on the corner of Raymond Road and Spring Ridge. Yeah. And so we were there, and then opened up Crazy 8. August 10th. August 10th, 2001. We opened Crazy 8. So I've been in the bar business nonstop. Got out basically New Year's Eve or January 1st of 2011 was my last day. Mm-hmm. For the most part. Dabbled back into it, put my foot back into it in Jackson Square. That was a complete disaster. Lost $60,000 on that deal and just never recovered. But, hindsight being 2020, shame on me. Mm-hmm. And my friend Bill jumped in with us. We just all took a beating, and just didn't work. No air conditioning in the summer. You ain't gonna work in Jackson, Mississippi. Terrible landlords. You ain't gonna work in Jackson.
Yeah,
Mississippi.
You're right.
So stayed out of it, man. Made a good career for myself in the car business. I worked my way up to into a management position. About my third year in, I was a manager at Herringer Toyota. Making 6 figures, with no college degree, been in the bar business forever, tattoos from head to toe.
But being a club owner and being a car salesman, aren't there a lot of the same demons?
Well, from car business to bar business, only one letter changes. And it's just the next letter in the alphabet.
Yeah, B to C. So,
you got to have good people skills. So, man, I met a guy, and I'm not going to mention his name or anything. I just don't want to get drug into no bullshit. By mentioning anybody's names here. I met a guy who had some apartments downtown. He had a big empty building. I was like, hey, man, what are you going to do with that building? He's like, man, I'm actually looking for somebody who, has ran bars before.
Be a damn shame if somebody started a club in it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how the conversation went. And he's like, you got the sense, I got the money, or you got the experience, I got the money. I showed him my resume, which is my scrapbook of shit I've done. Let
me show
Look
you
at me
my
and this
resume.
famous person. Look at me and this famous person. Look at these concerts.
This is when I lived in L.A. for 2 years.
Yeah. He's like, let's do it, And we opened up, it was 110. The first night open was the week before New Year's, because it was going to be New Year's and we got it ready center. So the week before New Year's we opened up, and I remember somebody telling me, like, man, look, if y'all do 500 people, that's going to be a overwhelming, back-bending success. Well, we did 1,300 people the first night open. This is in 2015.
I was there that night.
Actually, it would have been December of 2014.
One of 2 times I wore a man bun in person. Yeah.
It would have been December
In
of
public.
2014.
Yep, I was there that night.
So and that was a Saturday, I believe. So our next night open was New Year's Eve. So fast forward the next week. And we had like 1,500 people on New Year's Eve show up. I mean, it was the party in Jackson, And we did really well for a good little run there. Kyle was a integral part of that.
He was.
Several other people, man. We just slayed it, man. And we brought Kevin Gates to town. Actually, another promoter out of Baton Rouge hit me up. It was like, hey, through a mutual person that I don't like and don't like me, got us together. And it was like, hey, we got a Kevin Gates show and we need somewhere to do it. I didn't even know who Kevin Gates was at the time. I was just that out of the loop. I asked my little bartender, Neely, at the time. I'm like, do you think Kevin Gates would do good here?
She's like,
oh,
okay,
my
Boomer.
God.
She said, okay, Boomer.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, Boomer. And at that point, I was like, well, I guess I should figure out who Kevin Gates is. Man, of course, he became one of my favorite rappers.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a Wednesday night during spring break, which you had Black Spring Break on the coast going on at that time. You had all the white spring breakers. I hate making shit about race, but at the end of the day, it is. I'm not the one that calls it Black Spring Break. That's what it's called.
That's what it's called. Like,
You know-
don't fault me for calling it what the public calls it.
So you have a big chunk of the black folks down on the coast, all the white folks down in Panama City and the Redneck Riviera and all that. Man, we managed on a Wednesday night in Jackson, Mississippi during spring break to do 2,300 people for a concert.
I don't know of any club that's ever done those
They
kind of
hadn't.
numbers.
Let me just tell you, they hadn't. We did 2,000 for Drake.
Go on and flex for him one time. 2,300 people in the club.
Now, there was that time we did 2,000 for Drake at 105.
I mean, but it's Drake, you know.
So,
but hey, you got to claim into Drake's early years.
Yeah, I got they got the pictures to prove it.
I mean, we got an artist that's like beating the Beatles on record sales, and you had him at your club in the beginning.
Yeah, actually, he had the #1 song in the country that day. It was actually his second time to 105, and he wasn't popular the first time. Somebody remembers that one. But
He was fresh out of the wheelchair back then.
yeah, straight out of it. So we did the Kevin Gates thing, and man, it's the first time in the history of the city that I've ever seen. I'm not saying that it ever happened, but the first time I'd ever seen. It was 50% white, 50% black. It was the first true mixed, and it was like that. It was like that party. Man, I had people hitting me up,
And there was
like,
no problems that night, were there?
like, nah, man. Well, yeah, I think this one black girl did beat this white dude's ass for grabbing her ass. He just couldn't take it no more.
Well,
It's
at
like,
that point in time, it's just a female.
Juicy
defending-
got the best of it.
Yeah, a female defending herself against a male who doesn't know how to keep his hands to
No,
himself.
exactly. But man, the goodwill that concert caused, and the doors it opened.
What if you have more stuff like that? What if every weekend something of that nature was going on, where you had 1,000 to 1,500 or 1,000 to 1,500 black people mixed together in the city of Jackson doing things?
Sure. Well, my opinion on it is the white folks that don't live in Jackson, it's got to be in one of the safe zone bars. The places that white people feel safe going that don't live in Jackson. You know what I'm saying? The suburbanite.
Why are they like that?
I don't know, man. 'Cause, it's like you got a good chance of getting shot in one place as you do another, but that's how
But
small-minded people think.
But that same thought process falls into so many things, even the current pandemic situation. You got so many people that they're letting this fear of death or fear of ailment control everything that they do. You know, and like this city would thrive so much better if everybody just threw the statistics out the door and just realized the whole world is a jungle.
Yeah.
Like, ain't no church in the wild, like Kanye said. Ain't no church in the wild. The moment you step out your front door, you're dealing with a plethora of death options. Just go live your life.
I got to skydive into the middle of something else before I forget it. JJ just reminded me. So we did Leif Garrett at Crazy 8.
Y'all did.
But that goes back to my living in LA story. So Dirty D had done hooked up playing bass for Leif Garrett. Mm-hmm. And we end up at John Lennon's son's, John and Oko's son, whatever Lennon.
Julian.
We end up at Julian Lennon's house in the Hollywood Hills. In my 14 days there.
I'm offended. Okay, I thought we were boys, and I don't get these stories until now.
I just forget about a lot of it.
Like, come on, you're at Julian Lennon's house?
We end up at Julian Lennon's house in the Hollywood Hills with Leif Garrett. And if you don't know who Leif Garrett is...
All right, so this is my first time. One of my best friends for a decade now. This is my first time hearing this story.
You know, and I'm just remembering this, man. And we just had all these crazy deals. But I saw that completely off subject to this. But I didn't want to forget the opportunity to be able to flex a little and say I've been to Julian Lennon's house in Hollywood Hills. So yeah, man, the Jackson stuff is crazy. It's, you know, and I don't know that in this day and age, I don't know that a conservative, you know, Trump voting, planning on voting on Trump again, conservative, is allowed to have a majority black club in Jackson anymore. You know, because that's what my clubs always were. We catered, you know, for the most part, we always catered to the minority crowd. Loved it. It was what we preferred to do. You know, a lot less drama.
It's because you embraced the reality that Jackson is a black city.
Yeah.
You embraced it.
Loved it.
You didn't shun it.
No.
You embraced it. You know? And I'm sure there's naysayers out there say, oh, you tried to profiteer from it. Well, Jesus Christ, what is the point of opening a business? To profiteer. That's capitalism, my friend.
Yeah.
You know, but you embraced it. You know? And,
you know what you never got in my clubs? $100 cover charge.
No names.
You know what I mean? You got you paid $10 and you got in. You know, there was never. You know, now we did with when we did 110, we did discover the VIP stuff, and it's like if you didn't want to wait in the long line, you could pay more to get in.
Bottle service.
Now, you know, we didn't never have a liquor license to the very end of both of them. Like 105 was there. We were there for 8 years before we got a liquor license.
You never let a little thing like that stop your progress.
Now look, I mean, we had way more luck with just letting people charging. Whether you were paying $10, we charged $10 to bring a bottle in. Whether it was one of these or a gallon.
Right.
Make it worth your while to spend your $10, you know?
Well, you didn't give a shit how much they drink. $10 is $10.
Yeah, I mean, so that got us getting $20 a head. So, because you paid $10 to get in, and then you paid your $10 for your bottle. I didn't care.
You're welcome for this free business model on how to run a club in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, look, liquor license is way overrated. Too many laws. I love my friends at the ABC. You know, really do. They taught me a lot about what not to do in life.
You know, I really blame a lot of this fear of Jackson on just not knowing Jackson.
Yeah. I mean,
I wish more people would just be comfortable with just openly saying, I don't know shit about Jackson. That's why I'm afraid of it. But then you could spin that into, I don't know shit about viruses. That's why I'm afraid of it. I don't know anything about this. That's why I'm afraid of it. Yeah. Ignorance equals fear. Every time. It never matters.
Well, going back to being a white conservative in Jackson now, if I tried to open up a club again and book rap concerts, you know, there's that area, there's that woke Jackson crowd that let's say I tried to book a Kevin Gates now, they would call and be like, you know, you're going to a Trump supporters bar, and it would get canceled.
Canceling people is the trend now.
Cancel culture.
It doesn't matter that you would be a businessman that would make sure that the proper amount of security was there, that a fair ticket price was charged, that that you would order enough alcohol to make sure everyone at the highest potential amount of people joining would be able to get served a drink as much as they want to drink, that the people would be protected and stuff like that. It doesn't matter that you're making those quality decisions to create an environment that everyone can function in.
Never in 20 years did anybody get stabbed or shot in one of my clubs.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds like the bar is set mighty low, but
it's not, though. I mean,
turn the news on Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings in Jackson, Mississippi, and see how many people got shot and stabbed in nightclubs.
Okay, all right. So segue. I can't tell you how many times I've played over 2,000 professional shows in my life, and the 99.100% majority of them have been in alcohol serving establishments, and I have seen every kind of situation that can go down. The number one thing you are trying to avoid is that level of violence, because you have now created an atmosphere where everyone is consuming the most dangerous drug on the entire planet. I don't give a damn what nobody says. This is the most dangerous drug ever. Fireball. No. But yeah, like I've seen drunk people, and I even talked to my LEO friends that, pull people over. They're like, I would totally rather deal with someone high on cannabis than to deal with a drunk person. So you have a room full of drunk people. If you can avoid a shooting or a stabbing in the state of Mississippi, where carrying a weapon is as liberal as the day is long, you have achieved quite a feat. So yeah, that's definitely a merit. I don't want you to feel like that's a bar set low type thing. That's a bar set high.
At 105, which for those that don't know, 105 was downtown on Capitol Street on the corner of Ferris and Capitol, where the catwalk was. And if you're older than that, it was where the wagon wheel was, which Johnny Cash played at, and all kind of legendary artists over the years that came through Jackson. Jerry Lee Lewis. So it was downstairs, so we had the entrance. When it was the catwalk, you entered up the Ferris Street side. Well, when we got it, we had the restaurant next door downstairs, and we discovered that there was a stairway that went up the front way. Never knew that, I was like, well, let's use the front entrance, And so you got searched at the sidewalk level. You paid at the mezzanine level. You got searched again. And if we found anything on you there, we fired the guy downstairs. Happened twice. Somebody got something to the second level, caught it, fired the guy downstairs on the spot. I mean, bro, you ain't doing your job. So all in all, 10 years in one place, almost 9, to only have 2 situations where you even had somebody get close. Now, there's stuff that happened outside on Capitol Street, which you can't control. But still nobody ever got shot in front of the club.
I'm about to totally piss a lot of people off, and I don't usually do that because I try to keep everybody happy with me. I'm not trying to be canceled. But you speak of yourself being a conservative. If I had to create a polarization between...
Now, conservative, not Republican. There is a difference.
There's a difference. Nowadays, there's a difference. Just like there is a difference between a liberal and a Democrat now.
Yeah.
Like, if I had to my own personal opinion, separate a conservative club owner in Jackson from a liberal club owner, if someone walks in, they get patted down, and they have a gun on them, I feel like a conservative club owner will pull that gun and be like, hey man, I really appreciate that you believe in your rights to carry this. I support your rights to carry this, but this is a private sector business, and we have a ban on them being inside this building. So I'm willing to work with you and give you the benefit of the doubt to not be an asshole, and let's figure out a situation. Can we just put this back in your car? Can we take this somewhere? That just I don't want you walking into my place of business with it. I feel like a liberal-owned business would shame the shit out of them for having a weapon.
Sure. So,
like, there's no chance in hell that you were someone that was just having it on you to potentially defend your existence in this world, but you had it on you because you were automatically a murderer.
Sure. So, not a bigger supporter of Second Amendment and open carry than myself, or close.
100% supporter here.
But where I draw the line is alcohol and
Once
and
again,
firearms mixed together.
World's most dangerous drug. Cheers, right here.
We had professional armed security in there already. So you didn't need unprofessional redneck security.
Yeah, right.
With armed redneck security. So if we were keeping it out, there was no point letting it in. You know what I'm saying? We already had it if we needed it. I can't recall, and Dad may be able to draw on some different memories, but I cannot recall ever having to draw our guns inside on anybody. Outside, downtown, different story. You know, there was counterfeit money incidents and stuff like that where you catch people, you know, getting you for a couple grand.
And you know, and look, and our generations, Gen X and Millennial, we were raised on music.
Yeah,
I'm talking about pull up. You know, and today's music doesn't really influence that culture as much as it influences like this culture. Drug out of your mind. You know,
man. Today's hip hop culture is all about not selling drugs but doing them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really different. You know, like growing up, the rap music, rock music, whatever would talk about was smoking weed, partying with girls, selling drugs.
Smoke weed, sell the drugs, defend your turf.
Yeah.
You know, that was the systematic view of it. Drink up, smoke up, shoot up, sell up. But it's different nowadays. It's all about shoot up.
And I guess it changed a little with like Lil White was probably the first one I remember that actually talked about getting high on something other than weed.
That's your problem.
You know,
them
got
white
into the
boys
Oxycontin.
Rap. Should never let them white boys rap.
Got into the Oxycontin and now, you know, everybody just all these different drugs. And you know, I remember how impressionable I was listening to, you know, rap music or rock or whatever at 15, 16 years old. You know, hell, I remember being so into No Limit that I went and bought white camo from Dave's Military in Pearl.
Yeah.
Desert camo.
Oh, God, I wish you still had it.
You know, I had a No Limit medallion, the whole 9 yards.
I had a No Limit medallion. I used to wear it on stage, like... But look, I believed in P, man. Like, Master P was a hero of mine.
Well, you know, they got a 9-part documentary on BET right now. Like part 1 and 2 aired last week. Yeah, and it's I've missed it. I keep forgetting. I meant to set a reminder on my phone. I mean,
this isn't an appropriation of culture. Maybe, just maybe, Master P truly influenced me as a kid too. You know?
Oh, yeah.
He taught me that I can take control of my music and I can take control of my life and all of that. So. I mean, it's my culture too. It's American culture, like Southern culture.
It's CEO culture, man. I mean, just
CEO culture. There you go.
You want to be your own boss, and I mean, P showed a lot of people the way. I mean, there's a lot of millionaires now because Master P wrote the blueprint.
Yeah, man.
You know, I mean, you think back. I was talking to a guy that hit me up, TJ Nicholson, and tagged me in a post out in front of Bebop the other day. He said, most of y'all won't know who this is, but I know Clay does. I won't know what this is, but I know Clay does. And I was like, man, TJ's big into white dude, big into hip hop and stuff. And I was like, man, you know, I just got me to thinking back of every Tuesday, you'd wait on whatever the new No Limit album was to come out. Like in 1 year, they released like 100
Ice
albums.
Cream Man, The Last Don, like all of them.
I think just all the secondary artists, you know.
Silk the Chakra, Mystical,
and then Fiend.
So I was pretty hammered last night, and I don't usually like to drunk post, but I totally drunk post last night. I said, Alexa, play Bone Thugs and Harmony, because I was at a Bellhaven little party last night. It was all Gen Zers, and they're listening to like Lil this and Lil that and Lil him and Lil her, and I was just like, Alexa, play Bone Thugs and Harmony. And
I saw your post.
and it was like the whole mood changed. Well, I was like, yeah, you hear that? That's a flow. That's a real flow, you know? Oh, man. And then I went into some crazy stuff. Like, I was just trying to blow their mind. I was like, Alexa, play Spice One. Alexa, play, you know, this, that, and the other. Man, it was a great time, man. Just.
You need beer?
No, I'm good.
You?
Do I need a beer? Oh, no, you got me one right there. I'm good.
Okay.
Maybe just swap that one out for a cold one.
Yeah, let me do that.
Crystal's amazing.
Oh, she is.
You're amazing, Crystal.
Hey, if y'all want to tip Crystal for being our waitress, my Cash App is $Clay601.
Clay601. That is the most appropriate name ever.
That man, look, I started the Clay601 thing, I guess, when I got on Twitter 11, 12 years ago. There's Clay601. You know, there's a funny story about me and nicknames, thanks to Bucky Combs. And or maybe it was somewhere between Bucky and Sonny Evans. I can't remember who started it. It had to have been Bucky. But I called him up one day. I was going to Hines at the time, and we're going to a club. And I said, bro, you might as well call me C-Note, because I got a $100 bill. Let's go party. And man, it stuck.
Hold on. Speaking of street names, I got my street name right here.
C-Dub.
CW. Chad Wesley. C-Dub right here. Got it embroidered on my hat. Laker Nation.
And so, anything with a C became my nickname. So it was like C-Note, C-Note, C-Note.
So I guess we do have that in common. The C name.
The C name.
Clay and Chad. Which is, look, Clay is the only one allowed to give me a hard time about being a Chad.
Well, I would ask you if you punched a sheetrock wall lately, but that's more of a Kyle thing.
That's Kyle. You know what's funny is, so in Brandy and mine's bedroom, we have like some plaster fixed on the wall where I got like upset like 10 years ago, and I was just trying to assert my dominance as an alpha male. Not because I'm some wife abuser, okay? I want to get that out there. But no, like we got kind of barky on a situation, and I like hit a suitcase and slapped it off the bed to show my dominance, and it hit the wall and busted a hole in the wall. And to this day, I got a buddy of ours to come and just like fill it in and plaster over it. So my wife, she gets this paint that's not even remotely for walls, but she paints over the plaster that he did, and it's actually a side profile of Julius Caesar. Craziest thing ever. It's just, one of those like, hey, I see this cloud, and this cloud looks like so-and-so. Yeah, so that's what her little paint thing looks like. So, did I actually punch a hole in the wall because I'm that guy? No. That is not a Chad move. A Chad move was slapping something that went into the wall. But a Kyle move is punching the wall.
Have you ever punched a hole in the wall?
One time.
Like, have you ever destroyed public property?
Yeah, I may have lost my temper in timeout a couple of times. Are there any Clay things in the world? Is Clay a name?
Clay's like a grandpa name, man. We were just badasses,
The only
killing Nazis and dropping warheads on foreheads.
The only Clay that I know is Clayton Bigsby, Dave Chappelle.
The black white supremacist.
The black white supremacist. Nobody gives Dave Chappelle credit for that was your first skit.
And do you know
that was your first skit you come out the gate with for your new show?
And you know what's weird? That was pre-internet or pre-social media. And I don't even remember the lead up to that show even being a thing. But I know that the next day, it was the only thing people talked about.
Oh, yeah.
If you bumped into anybody where, man, did you see Dave Chappelle doing the black white supremacists?
Well, okay, and I love my black friends more than anything. I totally want to let them always know what goes on the other side of the fence. Being like a young white teenager with your white dad that was a boomer,
yeah,
and your white brother that's a Gen Xer, and you're sitting there, and it's 2002, 2003, and this new Dave Chappelle skit comedy show's debuting, and that's the first skit you see. Of course we laughed our asses off.
Oh,
we didn't laugh our asses off because we agreed with it. We laughed our asses off because we've never actually met the KKK. We've never even seen the KKK. It's that
42 years old.
34 years old.
Never once been approached, never seen, never had a flyer left on my door.
Nothing. Nothing. So to us it's this fairy Tinkerbell type thing that he's addressing, and it's I've always heard about this stuff, but wow, you're making a funny skit out of it.
I grew up in South Jackson, and my dad owned a store on Lynch Street.
Yeah, I woke up every Saturday morning with BB King and Kev Mo playing loud, and my dad's cooking breakfast. We're listening to blues. That was just a part of our life. Black culture was a part of our life.
Exactly.
Black culture was a whole entire part of my life.
Dude, my mom was watching, and she'll say, Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
dude, I had the Beat It jacket, the glove, the Thriller glove.
3 of my cats are named after successful black men.
Look,
I've got mad love for black culture and black history, but I don't want to call it black culture. I don't. I want to call it American culture.
Yeah.
I don't. Look, I know how we got here. I can't speak for how we got here. I cannot speak for how we got here. I didn't live in the 16 and 17.
I can speak for to a certain point how we got here. White liberals hijacked the cause, and have told people how they must feel about something.
Stop.
That's how we got to here, like today. From 10 years ago to today.
Let me enjoy my black brothers and sisters of American culture producing beautiful music.
Absolutely.
Great content, wonderful sports performances, great politics, everything. Just let me enjoy it. Don't sit here and tell me that I have to be separate from it because of my skin color. Like, damn you, white liberals. Damn you. Like, damn you for, like, constantly trying to convince me that I'm separate from it. Yep. No, I'm not separate from it. It means to me just as much as it means to anyone else.
Yeah.
I love Master P, and I love this. You know, I love that. I love this. Like Kobe Bryant. Everybody knows that everybody texted me the day Kobe died. Yeah. Everybody. My black friends, my white friends, my Hispanic friends, it didn't matter. Everybody texted me the day Kobe died.
Yeah. Here's what I tell people. I don't care if you're gay, black, white, whatever it is.
Whatever label the left gives you.
Don't let what you are be who you are. You know, like, I got hemmed up. I get with this page, for some reason, I get called a racist all the time. And I get...
To know you personally, like, it's extremely laughable because, like, you're the antithesis of that.
Yeah.
You launched this whole Save Jackson thing to bring all of these different viewpoints to the party to let them hash it out. You were just the proprietor of it.
And then there's this little dude, man, a little transvestite dude, black transvestite dude, who has been stalking me for about 3 years. Every time I say anything, I've got him blocked as much as I can imagine, but he called me a white supremacist, tried to get me fired from multiple jobs, this, that, and the other. He's a guy that it's okay if you're gay. It's clearly okay if you're black. That's not even a thing. I mean, for there to be a problem with that.
Can I say something in your
defense? It's just a guy that has decided to make what he is who he is. Like, so it's just, man, I don't have no problem with gay people.
Can I say something in your
But
defense?
if all you're going to do is fucking sit there and be, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay. I don't care. That'd be like me preaching, I'm straight. I don't care what you are. Just don't make it who you are. Right. When you make it who you are, it's just annoying. Nobody cares.
In your defense, growing up with so many black people, so many white people, I even had Hispanic friends. I had a lot of Hispanic friends, and that taught me how to speak Spanish. I have terrible Spanish because I learned it from so many various Hispanic places. But growing up,
is that from growing up in a chicken plant community?
Man, okay, so you're bringing up some real shit now. Growing up in Forest, we were a poultry plant city.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but we just know that
we had
in
Puerto Ricans, we had Cubans who hated each other, and we had Guatemalans, we had Hondurans, we had Mexicans, we had everything. But I was friends with everybody. I just didn't see color. I know that's the worst thing that you're supposed to say in the liberal world. Don't see color. Well, yes,
if you don't see color, you don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. I just saw another human that could teach me something cool about the world. All right. In your defense, whenever I wanted to bask in black culture, you were the friend that I would come to do that with.
Yeah.
Like, I knew that Clay would be the friend that I could bob my head to some No Limit, or we could listen to some Malaco, Mississippi blues.
Sure.
Or whatever, and I knew that Clay would feel it with me, So, for anybody that would just call Clay a racist, it is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, this man is the antithesis of that. The whole point of Save Jackson is to let Rankin County and Madison County expose themselves and trap them own selves into their own bigotry.
Man, look, people have been living in such a little tribal bubble for so long, especially in Jackson.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm going to call out my black, my black co-citizens of Jackson. Been living in a bubble for so long that the fact that I think they forgot that some white people still live here.
Some, yeah.
That with anybody white said anything negative, You know, it's just that it's like all about like the news channel comment sections. Like they think that's real life. You know, like, oh, you're just bashing Jackson. You live in Rankin County. No, I don't, man. You know, but hey, look.
Clay living in Rankin County is like me playing the flute.
Yeah, it's just, which is not
like,
my thing.
This is Jackson right here, buddy.
But it's like people have gotten so hung up on this, and it's like people have lived in this bubble for so long that if anybody white said anything about Jackson, or just saying Jackson somehow became like code for black.
All right, for instance,
you know, it's like that's not. What do you mean? I don't get that.
Not speaking of Black Lives Matter as an organization that's get funded and has their own political agenda, but speaking for Black Lives Matter as just a movement and an ideology. That is essentially what we are, because it's this cry for like, hey, privileged white America. You know, your ancestors built this country. They were slave owners. Some of them, the 1%ers, not all of them. But, you know, you built this country on the backs of our ancestors and this, that, and the other. So will you please speak up for us in this judicial system? Will you please help us have a voice? And I totally get that. So if anything, I feel like my relationship with you is that. Yeah. It is that, like, we are some white guys that live in Mississippi and the United States of America, but we were those kids that black culture was our life. Yeah, look, it was what we grew up on. We were your voice. Like, if you needed a white voice, we were your voice.
Yeah, let me just say this, because I don't know if I've ever said it publicly. Of course Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
I don't even know, like, why is even having to say that a thing? My issue is the Marxist, white liberal funded organization Black Lives Matter does not matter.
No.
And I mean,
they're profiteering. They're profiteering. They're hustling. They're hustling.
Yeah, and if that's a problem with anybody, you're not going to.
I'm gonna respect you if you respect me when I tell you that organization is making bank, dog.
They're making bank. There was even an original Black Lives Matter organization by a black man in California that the white liberal-backed Black Lives Matter is suing over the name when he had it before them.
Yes, dear Black America, the white liberal is your enemy.
I mean, good
I said it out loud. God, I know this is going to change the face of my career. I don't care anymore.
This is where y'all share the video.
I don't care
This
anymore.
is where you share it.
The white liberal is your enemy. He may not know he's your enemy, but he is subscribing to a mentality that feels like he has to speak on your behalf, that he has to tell you how you feel, that he has to communicate to other white people who are privileged how you feel.
Look at Portland. It is
They've hijacked your movement.
The whitest community in the country, Portland, Oregon.
Trump supporters are not out there hijacking your movement.
If Fondren was a city, it would be Portland. The whitest part of the blackest city in Mississippi, Fondren. If it was a true city, it would be Portland. They have hijacked the whole movement. Like, if you want to make something uncool real quick, let white liberals get a hold of it.
Oh, if I ever want to go to a place in Jackson, Mississippi, and feel the complete and utter lack of black culture, Fondren. I'll go to Fondren.
You know what I call Fondren? It's where white people go play Jackson for the day. It's like LARPing.
I gotta do a long whistle on that one.
It's where white people go LARPing for the day.
I want to play Jackson. I'll go to Fondren.
Yeah, I'm so Jackson.
I'm Jackson AF.
I got a shirt from Cheney. I'm so Jackson.
Jackson AF.
No knock on Cheney. They're just in Fondren. I love Cheney.
Look, yeah, Cheney's great, man. Yeah. Cheney's great. You know, yeah.
But it's like to say that barbecue from Fondren's the best barbecue in the state.
Stop.
Oh, we will fight.
Stop.
We will fight at any Exxon. Meet me at the Exxon on North Side. We're gonna eat some real barbecue and we're gonna fight.
Bro, Jackson is a beautiful city.
E&L's.
Jackson is a beautiful city. Our downtown is very well constructed and laid out. I know we have road problems. I know we have potholes. I know we have crime.
We have mayoral problems.
Oh, we got mayoral problems, you know. And just, look.
We got Stokes problems.
But the city has a vibe. It has a feel.
Oh, it does,
y'all,
man.
I built my whole entire soul,
hate that this current generation of wokesters and white liberals have hijacked the city of soul.
Yeah.
You know, and look, man, crime has always been a thing in Jackson, but it's, with the exception of the occasional really, really bad deal, it's in neighborhoods, not business areas. You know, that don't make it right. I don't want to make sure I'm not saying it wrong, but Jackson's always been kind of dangerous.
You want to hear something crazy? So I come up a hardcore liberal.
Yeah.
I was a hardcore liberal in my 20s.
When we used to have these conversations.
I felt like I needed to speak for black people. I felt like I needed to tell white people how they feel.
That was your privilege.
That was my privilege, speaking wide open.
I'm kidding.
And once I grew out of that and come back down to reality and realize that there is no moral superiority, there is no virtue signaling, you know, and once my ideologies become more conservative, I started to realize black people are powerful in their own right. They are Americans just like the rest of us. They are working class citizens that not only are they providing and giving support to this country right now, their ancestry gave huge support and construction to this country. Why the hell do I need to tell them how to feel?
Yeah.
Why do I need to tell them what voice they should have? Speak your stuff.
Yeah.
Speak your stuff. I'm not going to tell you how to speak your stuff. Speak your stuff. I'm going to sit over here and just, when anyone asks me for my opinion is just going to be me restating your rights to be who you are.
Absolutely, man. Kind of start to land this plane a little bit.
Land this plane. We've been flying.
We've been flying. I think we've touched about everything. I hope that we were able to paint a picture a little bit for like kind of a different side of what Jackson is.
Yeah.
You know, y'all see me do way more controversial interviews and shows and stuff like that. But I wanted to get with someone that I'm just really comfortable and laid back with, that knows me, that knows that knows my backstory. I don't have to explain who I am to them to tell a story. We can just tell a story. And I wanted to kind of show people there's a different side to Jackson. Mm-hmm. You can be a white guy. You can be a conservative. You can be a libertarian musician. You can be a business guy. You can be, obviously, you can be a black guy, a white liberal, whatever it is you are. But we're not all some, we got the news on in the background on the TV in front of us here. And Trump's on there. And it doesn't have to be so polarized.
It don't.
Like, we keep letting what we see on social media dictate how we're really supposed to feel like people when we get in real life.
I mean, did it ever occur that 90% of the time someone that posts something just so virtue signaling or pissed off or diatribe of just bullshit is really just an individual having a bad day?
Yeah.
And they took a political point and just made a whole rant out of it on this group or this page? Like, did we lose this sense of understanding that we all are working a job? We're all trying to make a paycheck. We're all trying to pay our bills. We're all trying to survive this pandemic. We're all wearing masks, not wearing masks. We're all taking vitamin C, trying to not get sick. At the end of the day, every last one of us is an individual human being just trying to feel love and happiness. That's all we are. And that's all we're ever going to be. So the more we just put those polarized, politicized differences to rest and start living life as a human being, the more progress we're going to make. We all want the same things.
Absolutely.
I've never met anybody that didn't want just life, liberty, love, and the pursuit of happiness.
I want money.
Get paid.
So I can provide for my family.
Yeah.
And,
do you want to stifle another man from getting money?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I mean, when I say I want money, and I bet that is the top thing, that's because I want happiness and family and all that. But you want to be able to make a living to provide for your family.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to know I can go to a gas station in Jackson without having to get shot or sold a mixtape.
Look, I was 3 o'clock in the morning. Look, I was partying in Jackson last night. It was like 2:33 in the morning. You can go check my Instagram if you don't believe me. I was at the Shell station on Fortification Street. I walked in there. You know, some of us had our masks on, some of us didn't. You know,
I remember when the guy got killed there.
They didn't really give two shits whether or not we had a mask on. But, you know, Arab guy running the cash register, owning the business.
Is that the one by Finian's?
Yeah, one by Finian's. You had an Arab guy owning and running it. You had black and white people waiting in line together. There were no disagreements. It's 3 o'clock in the morning in Jackson. At 3 o'clock in the morning in Jackson, everybody's buying some type of tobacco or vape to smoke and alcohol to drink because we're all pursuing the same exact thing.
It's like, you know why I'm here.
Happiness. Chilling. Nobody's bothering anybody. At that point in time, there is more American humanity in that moment in that convenience store in Jackson, Mississippi than all of Facebook. 90% of y'all's bitching and going off and pissed off at this and he should do that and if they didn't do this and take this from the government and blah, 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 blah. 90% of the time, if y'all just shut that shit up and just realize human life as an individual, these problems wouldn't exist.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm trying to add to that, but I feel like you said it all. I just, you know, people who follow me enough know I despise Jackson gas stations. I won't stop at any of them. I will not buy gas. I will not become a statistic at a Jackson gas station. I may become one at a Clinton or Byram gas station, but it won't be Jackson. You know,
you get shot in Madison County now.
Well, the gas station you talked about, I remember a few years back, man, the clerk got killed there. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just we talked about it leaving CS's earlier. There's this feeling of we know that they don't enforce the little laws. You know, the little stuff. You know, people always joke about like jaywalking. It doesn't get enforced. So you jaywalk. Then you do the next thing. Then you do the next thing. Then you do the next thing. And it becomes this trend of a lawless society. Like, I can get away with this, I can get away with anything. And then they tell you, well, X amount of weed is legal in your car, up to a certain amount. Sure, I don't have a problem with people smoking weed at all. But then what's next? You know, what's next? What's next? And it's just this complete sense of lawlessness in Jackson. Then you have people like Greta Bully, pulls a drive-by, allegedly, on a homeless man. You know, gets out of jail within 3 or 4 hours. Then you get somebody like Napoleon, Cypher Voice, that gets arrested and held in jail for 2 days.
So is privilege really melanin or lack thereof, or is privilege
money
really just money?
Privilege is money.
Is green privilege what we should really be talking about in America?
Well, in Jackson, 601, it's who do you know?
I will be the first to. I'll be the first to say that I've probably gotten out of a lot of situations because I lacked a little bit of melanin in my life. But I have seen way more situations where green privilege was the end all be all.
Yeah, green, and you know, and in Jackson, you know, it's who you know and it's how much money you got and who you can pay.
But that good old boy system expands beyond here.
Well, good old boy is not just white.
No, not all. It is who's shaking whose hand.
Is your daddy the constable?
Is your daddy
mayor,
this and that? Because, I mean, contrary to popular belief, I mean, there's a whole lot of black cops and black mayors and black aldermen and black leaders and councilmen and stuff that and the others. So
there's a lot of cash in Jackson.
A lot of cash, you know, like, so maybe privilege on at the hierarchy. I'll get on board with white and white privilege and this that and but on the everyday, it's a green privilege. It's a green privilege.
Sure, and that comes from being.
Do you remember the movie?
It comes from being a lack of middle class.
Remember the movie with Denzel Washington and Ray Allen? He Got Game.
Yeah.
Remember that Italian guy that was his agent, and he said, look, ain't but 2 colors. He said the only color that matters is green. You know. He said to hell with all that black and white. He said there ain't but one color that matters, and that's green. I I've lived a lot of life. I've been in a lot of situations. I mean, I would blow your mind with the moments that I've had the blessing by God to live in and experience. But I just can't help but see the world as green privilege.
Yeah.
Who's got the money and who don't? Because you can buy your way out of anything.
Yep.
Anything.
Yeah, and you're about to see it happen here. You're going to see a lady, internationally known African American lady who owns a restaurant here, that's going to end up buying their way out of a murder rap. You know, and there will be no riots. There will be no protest. There will be nothing.
Because white people don't give a shit.
No. You know, but
maybe that's part of the privilege of being white, that you just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, no one's going to give a shit.
No. If it's not a perceived threat against whatever you're...
Well, there's no white liberal in his right mind is going to be like, hey, let's organize a protest against this black woman.
Yeah.
Two dichotomies there.
Yep.
That, you know, may or may not be getting away with a violent crime. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not trying to make any speculations.
No, but
this isn't a courtroom right now. I'm just saying that they're not going to organize any kind of thing against that because that doesn't fit their agenda. There is a whole breed of white people that are really pissed that other white people have a better life than them. And they dedicate their anger and their tears of resentment to bringing down said white people who do have things.
It's white people with liberal arts educations.
They don't want to work.
Yeah.
They don't want to work.
I'm terribly sorry for the black race that they get caught in the middle of white people versus white people.
They do. And they're trying to... White liberals have tried to weaponize minorities.
Oh, God. White liberals have weaponized the shit out of minorities.
And, you know, it's liberal arts white liberal that paid $150,000 for an education. They can't get them a job writing at the Jackson Free Press. You know... And it's like, this is somebody's fault. You know, but you didn't go learn to be an electrician. You didn't go learn to sell cars. You didn't go learn to be a plumber. You didn't learn a skill.
Things that actually make money.
Yeah. People, you can mechanicalize.
Let's go with it.
You can roboticize, computerize, everything. You're always going to need somebody with the gift of gab. And that's good, and can build stuff with their hands. Yeah, the V8's always going to need worked on, and you're always going to need a salesman to convince you that you need to buy this machine instead of letting the guy build it with his hands.
Right.
You're always going to need that.
Always. That's never going to change. I mean, when your power goes out and you're in your house watching Netflix on a movie and your power goes out, or you're thinking, man, I wish that highly smart, well, poetically spoken white liberal, I really hope he can go get my electricity turned back on.
Where's that guy that always comments on Trump's Twitters first?
Man, I really hope he can get my lights turned back on. No one values you, bro.
Trump reply guy. You know,
no one values you, bro.
My water doesn't... Where's Trump reply guy?
Hey, where's Trump reply guy, man?
Has a degree in
At the end of the day, black and white Americans who dedicate their lives to learning trades to keep the infrastructure of this society at bay, they are valuable.
So, I got two things I want to do to end the show. I want you to play another song.
Indubitably.
And when we get done with that, I want to discuss one more thing that could go into another rabbit hole. I don't care how long we're here. My mom's like, it's been 2 hours. Y'all are going too long. I want to go one more thing because we can always chop this up. We need to discuss COVID and the effect it's had on the music business. And have you lost any faith in the local medical community? Because I have. I have lost a lot of faith and trust in the local medical professionals, and I want to call them out.
And your wife is a nurse.
And my wife is a nurse.
All right, start that segue. Guess what? I have the tiny bladder. I'm going to go back to the rest. All this alcohol up there.
You go. So, I keep looking down at the phone. At some point I got to cut it off, but I got to look at y'all's comments. We're going to talk to Chad about him as a musician and what the whole COVID conspiracy pandemic has done to his career, and what it's cost him, and what it's done for live music, and how negatively it's affected it, and how does he see coming out of this? What does he see changes? Is it forced him into some positives? Is it creating more negatives than positives? I always like to think that coming out of stuff like this, that we find the good, we find a way to evolve. And I told y'all this last week. Put some club owners or restaurant owners in charge of all this, and they're the most innovative people to try to figure out a way to make something work out of nothing. Musicians included, people who depend on a crowd to make their living, whether it's buying food or jamming out to music. And I also want to discuss the medical community. Yeah, we may punt that. We may punt that. This is getting long winded. We're only down to 20 viewers in live time, so I don't want to beat y'all to death with this. We're going to end it with Chad playing him song, and then just kind of talking about what's happened with the live music. We'll hold off on the medical. I feel like that's a whole nother show. I could go another 3 or 4 hours talking about the stuff going on at UMMC and racism from within. You know, causing people to lose their jobs and stuff. Let's see. Jesse seems pretty outspoken here. Y'all rednecks don't know the difference between Arab, Asian, Indian, generalizing pigmented skin between counter, which is racist as fuck. You're claiming you're not racist. Jesse. Coming from the dumb... This is Jesse again, Sing. Jesse, y'all must own one of the... y'all must own one of the Jascos. It's always the people that own the Jasco that get offended at us. If you're selling meth pipes and drug paraphernalia at your gas stations, you're garbage. It might not be you, but people that own these gas stations selling that garbage, we've got an upset Sing on the timeline here.
What we got?
He's like, what?
You know, we've been called a racist.
I've never been called that in my entire life. This is new for me.
Jesse Sing here. Y'all rednecks don't know the difference between an Arab, an Asian, an Indian, and general. Actually, we do.
Hold on. Indian. Isn't that someone from India? Does he mean Native American?
You know, I'm guessing there's a crew that owns these gas stations in Jackson called Jascos that only build in low-income areas and sell drug paraphernalia and meth pipes and allow loitering and prostitution.
Oh, the
in front of the
Jew-Man
gas
store.
stations.
The Jew-Man store.
You know,
That's where I grew up. That's the Jew-Man store.
they don't like me because I call them out on their stuff.
You go in the back room?
They poison our communities with the crap they sell on them.
Jesse, if you're still watching, calling people Arab who aren't Arab is offensive and racist. Well, thank you for teaching me. I appreciate you teaching me what I've done wrong. I don't know what gave you the moral high ground to teach me that I'm wrong, but I appreciate it regardless. So I will not refer to them as Arab to pacify you, Jesse Singh. And I do apologize if I sound condescending, because I'm absolutely condescending right now. Wow, just never been actually called a racist. This is new to me. Don't even know how to deal with it. It's like someone calling me square when I know that I'm the life of the party. So yeah, Jesse, I would love to catch up with you sometime. Maybe we could do lunch. I'll gladly buy you lunch and we could talk, and I would love for you to enlighten me. You seem extremely educated on the ways of the world and how people should speak to other people. I would love for you to sit me down and teach me how to properly talk, so therefore I could sound as completely watered down as you need me to be to appease your feelings. So, yeah, please. Wow, what a great day just for it to be soured with the idea that I'm racist. Wow, I really need to call all my friends and tell them, hey, I know we've had a wonderful relationship all these years, and I've never once, isolated you in any kind of way, but this guy, Jesse Singh, he doesn't really know me personally, never spent 1 ounce of time around me, but because I improperly used the word Arab, he's totally had this moral elite ground to dictate to me what my stance on humanity is. So, sorry to break it to you guys who actually know me. He says I'm racist. Yeah, wow. It's a new one on me. I've never been called racist. Chip, don't take the bait. Well, Chip, they throw the bait out there, and then maybe I did get a little hooked. Well, as far as Jesse goes, he is entitled to how he believes, and I appreciate him for speaking up, and I wish him well. I hope God blesses him in his life. I hope that he manages to survive this pandemic, because, it's so dangerous. Just been sitting here talking to our friend Jesse. I've never been called a racist. Like, I don't even know how to deal with that.
Welcome to my world. Now, in their defense, I've been really, really hard on some of these Indian and foreign-owned gas stations.
Well,
but I'm not lumping them all together. But there's just a group of them that are terrorizing our inner cities with the crap they allow happen at their gas stations.
my only complaint with that is I wish the city of Jackson would create programs that would open those convenience store ownerships to more minority of cities of Jackson. Like, I want to see more black-owned convenience stores in the city of Jackson. Not foreign-owned.
Yeah.
Not that I have a problem with foreign-owned convenience stores, but I would love to see a chance that more local business owners could have a chance to own those stores.
Yeah, I would much rather support a locally owned, and not just black or white, but locally owned.
Yeah, just locally owned, period.
From here. Born and raised here. Born and raised here. Give me 2 seconds, I'll be right back.
Hey, Ray said, I'm still waiting for y'all to blow up and act like y'all don't know nobody.
That's what we're doing.
That's our motto. That's what we live by. So I believe Clay has ran to the restroom to get something. Jesse, I only say things to pick around. I'm sure you're a great guy. I'm sure you're a family man. I'm sure you're a man of God. I'm sure we'd get along if we actually met each other in person. I know I said something you disagree with, but I'd really appreciate if you didn't paint such a incorrect picture of me, because that's not who I am. It's just not who I am. It's not who Clay is, Just because we speak openly about things and we may misphrase things, just like how you spelled your YOU''RE YOUR. Just how we mispronounce things doesn't mean that's who we are. Clay, are you returning to the set?
Yeah.
That's a good sound right there.
We're not going to end this on one of these nonsense racial things, because
we
don't sell
Julie King Johnson asked me, Chad, what age did I start playing? I was 8 years old when I started playing. I'm 34 now, so that makes almost 26 years.
Yeah.
I actually teach guitar at DC Guitar Studio in Gluckstadt, Madison. So you're welcome to call up there and schedule some lessons with me. When I'm not on the road and touring, I'm home teaching. So, yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing a covers album?
Absolutely, I have. I have about 10 covers that I would love to put on record, that I consider them renditions more than covers.
Are you comfortable discussing any of those?
Yeah.
So what would your not covers but remakes? What would your Chad Wesley remakes album be? I
would, of course, like all of my real fans would know that "Sail" by AWOL Nation would be on there. They love when I do that one. I love doing some songs by Bad Company. I love doing stuff by Delbert McClinton, Stevie Wonder. A lot of those artists.
What Poison song would be on there?
Something to Believe In. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's really.
Which
personal.
version?
I guess the Flesh and Blood album version, because that's the one I came up with the most. I didn't get that alternate version until way later in life.
Yeah.
But I was already just accustomed to the original version.
I would love to actually know the story behind the alternate version.
Maybe one day.
Like it's just out there, but there's never been like a definitive. Where did it come from?
Before I die, you and I will get a chance to sit down with Brett Michaels and just
discuss that.
Just talk. Just tell us the story, bro. And I got to throw a shout out that Clay and I became friends based on our love of the band Poison. And we discovered that probably one of those nights, probably your birthday weekend, while we were at Gators. Yeah. And you started playing a whole bunch of Poison, and I was like, hold on, what you know about this? And he was like, man, that's my favorite band. I was like, it's my favorite band.
Well, I think I met you were on stage at Left Field Lounge.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I met you.
I was hosting an open mic night there.
Yeah.
Weren't you going to propose to me at one of Chad's concerts?
I was. I just did it later that night. Instead, I was going to propose to my wife at the Martin
show. And the words of Matthew McConaughey had been a lot cooler if you did. Been like
it was so weird. It was hot, and I was just like, I'll wait till we get home.
You started playing my favorite band, Aerosmith.
Yeah, we opened up with Sweet Emotion on that show. Yeah.
Which is my favorite band.
Yeah, man, that was a good show. This last Martin show that I did 2 weekends ago was a really good one. I sold it out by proxy. It was because the capacity.
A sellout's a sellout.
A sellout's a sellout. It was a capacity limit of 50 people, and don't tell Chokeway, but we let 61 people into the building. I mean, I really hope we don't get any fines.
Now better Katie bar the door.
Better Kate. Damn the torpedoes. Full speed ahead. Clay, are you about to make me take my seven?
What's going to be our last shot here? We're going to end it with this. And save Jackson.
Save Jackson. Ooh, Lord Jesus.
What song are you going to end it with?
I should do a cover since you brought it up. Or maybe I could do an original. I don't know.
You can
kind of
do
brain
both.
dead.
People are going to tune in for music. They're going to tune out for me.
Yeah, I saw that question. I was 8 years old. I was 8 years old when I started playing. I'm 34 now. I could go out on an original. I definitely, it's all about supporting local business, so I'm going to play out some of my music. Let's see what we want to do. I got one. I got a little funky riff we'll go off with. This is actually a song. You can look it up. You can watch the music video on YouTube. You can find the single. It was a single from 2015. That song was mixed and engineered by Ryan Montgomery, aka Uncle Ron. So it's a little song called The One. Drive me insane. Not for a minute, not for a day. Give me a sign, let me know I can stay. Cause I'm feeling your demand. You just need a real man. Get you through the night. Make you feel alright. I'm the one for you, baby. No need to waste your time. My money. just like a fool, I put it on the line. Every minute of every day, I got the love that never fades away. Cause I'm feeling you're the man. Just need a real man. Get you through the night. Make you feel alright. I'm the one for you, baby. No need to waste your time. Play a little guitar for you. Oh! My money, give you my time. Just like a fool, I put it on the line. Every minute of every day, I got the love that never fades away. Cause I'm feeling you're the man. You just need a soul hand. Get you through the night. Make you feel alright. I'm the one for you, baby. No need to waste your time. Right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So, need to waller my big ass back over here in between my little cubby hole here. Chad, that was awesome.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you having me on here today.
Hell yeah. So where can that song be found?
That is available on Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, Amazon, all of it. It's a song called The One. It was engineered and produced by Jackson's own Uncle Ryan, a.k.a. Ryan Montgomery.
Which
God
album was
rest
that
his
on?
soul. That was actually a single. We never actually put it on an album. It was just a single that we released for a record label that Ryan and I were both working for. It was released in 2015, but it is available, like I said, on Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, all of it, man. You know, what is it, Amazon? Yeah, so it's called The One. Just look up Chad Wesley and you'll find it.
The One.
The One.
I like it, dude.
It's a little funky tune.
This has been a blast. You know, this is exactly what I was hoping it would be when I decided a long time ago that this is kind of what I wanted this all to eventually morph into. Mm-hmm. It was being able to sit right here, right now, and doing something just like this. So here we are 2 years later.
Yeah,
you've been down since day one. But when nobody knew who ran Save Jackson, this was my spiritual advisor.
Yeah. But look, he's my business advisor. I would ask him, like, hey, is this stupid? He was like, yeah, it's stupid. All right, well, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. And I know y'all hear these things now, and it sounds like, who cared? But there was a while there that it was a big deal. It was like some mysterious entity created this page and ran it. It seems weird thinking back, but it was like a big conspiracy for a while. Like,
it was.
Who is it?
Can I sew it up to say that Save Jackson is not some big campaign to shit on the city of Jackson. It is not some campaign to be racist and allow, the lowest of Rankin County and the lowest of Madison County. Because look, there are great people in Rankin County. There are great people in Madison County. This is not some platform for the lowest amongst you to come in and bash the city and be a bunch of racist pieces of shit. Nobody wants that, okay?
Absolutely.
That's not cool, bro. Save Jackson is a place where everybody of all races, of all creeds, can come and speak on what is wrong with this city and what is right with this city. I did not agree to come on here and be on this platform because this is some white supremacy bullshit to downplay Jackson. That is not why I'm on here. I am a white artist. I play blues, I play R&B, I play rock, I play all kinds of genres. My band is made up of black gospel players. I don't even like giving those labels because to me they're human beings. They're Americans, and we make American music. So just remember that just Save Jackson is about making this city great again.
Absolutely. I got the shirt.
That is not some racist term, I'll be damned if I'm going to sit here and allow it to be painted that way. That's not what this is about. We can't stand for just because there's some guys in the comments that are sitting here saying some bullshit bigotry that's what reflects this site. This is not what this is about. Granted, they have freedom of speech. If bullshit hate is what they're spewing, guess what? Let them talk it. Because now we know who to avoid. Let these hatred, bigotry-filled people speak their shit. Because now we know what businesses not to support. We know what people not to give, help to. Save Jackson is about making Jackson great again. Because this is a great city. It's a beautiful city. It's a wonderful city. It has amazing businesses. It has amazing people. It has amazing citizens. We may disagree with the leadership. We may disagree with how they're doing things. That's not a black and white issue. That's a human issue. It doesn't have anything to do with what someone looks like. Stop thinking that. That's small time thinking. That's middle of the mall thinking. Stop thinking that.
Middle of the mall.
Middle of the mall, to quote our boy.
Middle of the mall.
Middle of the mall. That's middle of the mall thinking. This is on a superior level. Black and white people, Hispanic people, our Asian brothers and sisters, all of those that make Jackson great. We are coming together to bring this city to life because we are the hub. We're the hub of I-20. We're the hub of I-55. From Memphis to New Orleans, from Dallas to Atlanta. We are the hub. We have so much potential. This is not some racist and some white supremacist net. We're the antithesis of that.
I like the hub thing. We need to roll with that.
We're the hub. It's the hub city.
I know
they talk about, Hattiesburg is hub city, but no, bruh, Jacktown is hub city.
You know what Jackson really is? It's the crossroads.
It's the crossroads.
It really is. I-55 and I-20 are the two of the busiest interstates in America.
If you're going to be the crossroads.
It's the only place that cross. And you know what's there? You know what's at the crossroads?
The devil.
No. Well, technically, yes.
We're going to talk about that.
Jackson Square is the only thing people see at the crossroads of the South. The two busiest interstates that run through the busiest cities in the South is that dumpster fire Jackson Square at the McDowell Road exit. Now, God bless my boy Nick Fulton that owns USA Pong because he's also right there, and I love Nick. But the traffic counts there, ridiculous. From Atlanta to Dallas, from New Orleans to Memphis, from Monroe to Birmingham, from Vicksburg to Meridian, everywhere. It all comes right through here. We should want more.
I know it's not popular for a white male Christian conservative to run a platform. But did it ever occur that maybe this white male Christian conservative believes in your right to speak who you are?
Red guy, blue city, red state. It's hard, but it's what I asked.
Look,
for.
I as a Jackson staple, as someone who's won multiple awards.
Hey, you just want to? Can we talk about that? You just won an award.
I just recently won Singer-Songwriter
I meant
of the Year.
to bring that up. So,
I just recently won Singer-Songwriter of the Year with the Jackson Music Awards, led by two jewels of this state. The great godfather of soul in this state, Black Gold, Lee King. And Jesse Thompson, his wonderful business associate who has done so much. I understand this is a black-led city. I embrace that this is a black-led city. It is a beautiful city, and I really hope you all see the beauty in it. And I come on here because I know Clay at heart. He's not a racist like others try to portray him as. Just because he says things that's unpopular doesn't make him a racist. If anything, this is one of my white friends who I always leaned on to enjoy black culture with unequivocally. Like, this is a platform to speak where Jackson has gone wrong, where Jackson is doing right, where Jackson is okay, where Jackson could be better. It's a plethora of many different options. So to all of my white followers, to my black followers, I don't even like to separate you that way. You're all human beings to me. You're all God's children. You're all souls inhabiting a vessel that may have more melanin than the next vessel. You know, I'm a spiritual type. I write my music that way. I love you all, and I just want you to understand that I'm here because I know Clay the person. And Clay the person wants America, wants a Mississippi, wants a Jackson, Mississippi to be great. Great again, or just great period. It don't matter. You can spin it any way you want to. It's all heart. It's all love here. There's no fuck shittery here, and that's probably the worst words I've said on Zabe Jackson. There's none of that here.
My mama is going to be disappointed.
She's going to be very disappointed in me, and I just want her to know that that is a millennial Gen Xer term that signifies bad things. There's none of that here. And God forgive me, Clay, for saying that.
You know, some of your parents, they play Teddy Riley albums and stuff like that. Nat King Cole albums at Christmas. My mom and her crew have become the world's biggest Chad Wesley fans. So now, everywhere I go, is Chad going to play? I've done 3 or 4 of my mama's friends been on here. Would y'all shut up so Chad can play?
Look,
Chad Wesley is the Nat King Cole of my mama and her friends. And
they're beautiful people. Look, the worst thing that we will ever be guilty of here at Save Jackson is calling black culture American culture. That's the worst thing we'll ever be guilty of, because to us, what black people have contributed to this state, to this country, to this world is a part of our culture. And like, that's what we celebrate. And I'm a blues, R&B, rock artist. Rock and roll is 50% granted to black people with their blues, 50% granted to white people with their country, the white man's lament, you know, and that's what invented rock and roll. But blues and R&B and soul and all that, yes, I know there are militants out there that would say I'm appropriating and all of that. Look, I understand why you feel the way you do, but at the end of the day, I play what I feel in my heart. At the end of the day, black culture is American culture to me. We are all under one flag. We're all under one country. We're all under one understanding. It's not perfect. I understand our history is whack. I will never, ever be one to deny that. But at the end of the day, Save Jackson is here to exemplify how beautiful of a city that Jackson really is and how beautiful a city that it can be. So that's my piece.
We won't forgive. We won't forgive our past, but we don't need to forget it either.
Right.
You know. I think we'll end it there. Chad, you want to carry us home with a cover song?
I'll give it.
Or original. I don't give a damn. You want to close the show out with a song? Hey, I tell you what. Crystal's been great to us today. Can you close us out with an Aerosmith song?
Do I have an Aerosmith song?
Do you have an Aerosmith song in your acoustic repertoire?
Can I meet you two in the middle and do not only a Poison song, but one that's of humanity?
Yes.
I'm going to do Something to Believe in.
Works for me. Good enough for the girl I'm married to.
So Poison is the band that made Clay and I trust each other as heterosexual life mates.
Oh my God.
the TV, speaking about the promised land. It tells me to believe in Jesus, steals the money from my hands. Some say he was a good man, but Lord, I think he sinned. Yeah. 22 years of mental tears, cries of suicide, a Vietnam vet who fought a losing war on a foreign shore to find his country didn't want him back. The bullets took his best friend in Saigon, the lawyers took his wife, his kids, no regrets. Anytime I don't remember any war he can't forget, he cried, forgive me for what I done there, 'cause I never meant the things I did. And give me something to believe in. Oh Lord, arise. Give me something to believe in. My best friend died a lonely man, some Palm Springs, a hotel room. I got the call last Christmas Eve as they told me the news. I tried all night not to break down and cry as the tears rolled down my face. I felt so cold and empty, like a lost soul out of place. Cried the mirror, mirror on the wall, see my smiling face again. And give me something to believe in. Oh Lord, arise. Give me something to believe in. I didn't know back then. Lord, you gotta take me home. Drive by the homeless sleeping on a cold dark street, like bodies in an open grave. Underneath a broken old neon sign, they used to read, Jesus saves. But I'm not the way that the rich man forgive and sin. Give me something to believe in. Oh Lord, arise. Give me something to believe in. There's a Lord above. Give me something to believe in. Yeah. And give me something to believe in. Sometimes I wish to God I didn't know now the things I didn't know then. And give me something to believe in. Yeah, yeah.
Dedicated
Shot,
my
shot,
boy
shot.
Clay. A little bit of poison for you.
Love it, love it, love it. All right. Landing this plane for the last time. Chad, my brother.
Clay, my
We
brother.
went almost 3 hours.
That was 3 hours? That felt like 30 minutes.
I know. It does. Because I think of all the things, like I told him while you were using the restroom, I said, we're gonna save the disappointment in the medical community for another conversation.
Oh, God, yes.
Because I got to think of, like, I could do another 3 hours on that. But so man, we have covered everything. I know we've ruffled some feathers, and that's okay. That's kind of what we're here to do.
I don't ruffle your feathers because I
awaken
want to be
folks.
divisive. I don't ruffle your feathers because I want to be divisive. I love you all. Like, I mean, I promise you, if I met you in person, we would be friends. I don't mean to hurt or piss off anybody. I love people.
Absolutely.
I'm a humanitarian.
Sure. I mean, like if anybody got offended by